one phrase, it would just be like Slanesh gives Colin an envelope with a letter, and it's just, "You're invited to a Marathi bubble bath."
I'm in.
Where's the bathwater? Where's the bathwater?
You'd see me like a juggernaut tearing through walls.
You'd be like the Roadrunner, just like. There you
Oh my
I'm the
gosh.
pancreas. No what, bitch?
Oh man.
Go-
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Lorecrimes. Cool.
Hello.
Hey. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome,
it's a good
welcome.
day.
It's actually, I think
It's a good day.
it's been a little while since all four of us have been on. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
It's been a little.
a while.
So, but luckily, strap in and get ready to be comfortable with the boys because we're talking. I mean, we're straight in there. Today is Emperor's Children.
Strap in and strap on.
Strap in and strap on. This is, if anyone is kind of new or anything like that, new to Warhammer lore in general, this will you're going to get a lot of, there's going to be a lot of lore incoming for a particular faction that, as a time recording, is having a huge, well, I would say huge, but it's having a release wave. There's lots of cool models and all that good
Lots
stuff.
of models. Not a
It's
lot of
fairly
lore.
huge, given that they didn't really have many models
is.
for the past
Yeah.
while.
I've only been waiting for 15 years, so
Only.
Better late than never.
No, but the Emperor's Children are a very fascinating faction, a Chaos Space Marine, twisted, evil, maniacal, disgusting, and utterly beautiful at the same time. They will be. We're going to follow the whole journey here. If anyone, this is not like a full-on like what we did before the Great Crusade episode. Check out that massive compilation that we did on that. If anyone wants to really sink in some painting time, but Eli is going to be helming a huge amount of good Emperor's Children lore. There's a lot to cover, and we will be talking about even all the way up to like kind of the modern stuff that's been happening. Right on the, as slow as Warhammer lore moves, this is the cutting edge of.
So Hal is basically just saying, we're going to edge you until the climax of their lore. How fitting.
crazy.
His lore in his prime.
Can I say something unrelated before we start?
Mhm.
That is still Lorecrimes related.
Okay.
I was watching a video, and then our little intro theme, like that song, they used that song in the video, and I think my heart jumped out of my chest. I was like, "We're recording?"
PTSD moment. Wow.
That's our song now.
Post-traumatic stream disorder. Wow.
We have to mention that Eli will do this in the voice of Werner Herzog.
Crazy. I don't know who that is, but that's I know it's crazy already.
What?
Oh
I
my
would like
gosh.
to tell you about the ways that the Emperor children are always being mean and sexual towards their victims.
It's a very
This
This
spot on
penguin
impression.
going off into the
No.
mountains, it's about to die.
Mhm.
Oh, I love
It's a
that.
very spot on impression. Is he
Mhm.
German or Austrian or something? Like this guy has.
Yeah, I was gonna, where
I
are
am.
we in the room?
he's
Very German. I believe.
European.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to see the baby.
Shall we?
That's his famous quote.
Shall we read our pre-stream donations before we get into it?
Yes, but before we do that, I just noticed dog on bed. So dog.
Huge.
Two
Dog
dogs
man.
on bed.
Could you describe the dog collar?
Two
as well?
dogs.
You can't see it.
Yes, one of them is a black lab mixed with something else. We don't really know. We're assuming pit. Not a lot of pit, more lab than pit, but there's the snout. She's currently twitching in her sleep, so I'm hoping it's a good dream. And then we have an American corgi, which is whatever the two kinds of corgis exist in England have a baby, which was
It's
apparently
basically, what if you got an English corgi and a bald eagle?
I literally think of like, does it
Yeah.
come with a bald eagle as well?
And he's presently, instead of chewing on my bone or on the bone he has.
Sheesh.
Emperor's Children themed. Wow.
He was chewing on my blanket for a moment, which I need that, so please don't.
Oh, nice.
He's such a fat, stupid moron.
That's the best kind of dog.
So it's
Yeah,
two
well-
British dogs put together. It makes
Oh,
an American dog. Two wrongs make it right.
Hmm. Yeah. Depends how much tea you
Hoorah!
chuck in the harbour. That's
Hoorah!
yeah. Would you like to read the first donation, Hal? It's involving you.
Donkey Man USA, $5 once again every episode. Stream late due to Hal gooning to Fabius. Fabius's spider backpack.
Awesome.
Fabius Naruto
That
rhymes.
lays eggs.
Thank you, Donkey Man.
It lays eggs.
Huh?
Yeah,
It
it
does.
does.
Oh, I thought you said
We-
Fabius lays eggs. I was like, no,
No, his
incorrect.
backpack was his backpack.
No, that's yeah. I thought you meant him. That's why.
Yeah,
I was
like
just-
everyone's backpack.
Louise,
Wrinkled
1945.
old Fabius egg. Ugh.
Thank you for the $2. Orc-Brain say send discs, so I did. Well, thank you to your Orc-Brain
Thank you,
for the
brother.
$2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Tom Warren, orcs hunt space whales. They call fishy.
Yes,
Fish. Do they?
Didn't
Oh.
know that. Bloody Shirt Music.
Bloody shirt music.
Yeah, $2.
$2.
Love you guys forever. Thank you. Love
We
you
love
too,
you
man.
too.
Love you too.
We love you
Really
too.
appreciate it.
Bless you.
Love
So
you.
we should mention as well, very early on, if anyone is listening and hasn't heard yet, there is a Discord. Links will be down there. It's popping off. People are
Yeah,
making fun of our
Almost
foreheads,
600 members.
Drew and Will.
hairlines. I've been insulted every day for weeks. So
You're
I
not
did see a
special
new,
on that front.
Oh, man.
there's stuff for like
There's a
you
new
know,
meme someone made of like the god from Cthulhu, the Yellow King, I think it is, and it's your face on it. It looks really funny.
tentacles.
Oh gosh.
Colin, do you want to hit this one?
Sure. Yeah, I was just looking at the clip DJ Beast has already sent, and it's titled "Colin talking about himself," and it's me saying he's a fat, stupid moron. So that's nice. Thank you for
Really,
that.
really
Wretched.
on point episode.
Thugless El Bosso, thank you for the 10
Euros.
euros. Yeah, I got it. I had it.
Thank you.
Theoretical, the Emperor is Chaos's greatest champion. Practical, created a trail of blood on an excessive scale, sowing a rotting bureaucracy and building it with deceit. Sincerely, a Wordbearer fan. But are you
You're so
wrong?
real. You're so real for that.
No, you're
You're
not.
so real for that.
Wrong. Still wrong.
Incorrect. Correct.
Bad.
Sharp,
Eldar don't count. Eldar don't count.
Sharp
Yeah, they're not
Sharpie,
here right now, baby.
1074. Thank you for the $5. Why does Eli look like he's 4 foot tall? Also, happy birthday, Colin. Happy
Damn.
birthday, Colin.
Happy birthday.
And I am 4
Thank
feet
you.
tall. That's why.
Thank you.
He's
So I'm-
45.
I'm
It
5'4",
was-
but it's pretty much the same thing. So.
It was 3 months ago, but I appreciate it.
Also, Groinaf became a member. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Groinaf.
Thank you very much,
Hope you
brother.
enjoy it.
You groin man.
And Angry Homunculus for £2. Stream late due to Skaven Tide in Birmingham. Goodness.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Right, I'm the Skaven.
Emperor's children-in-law will begin in the Beninging, as they say.
Ninging.
In the Beninging.
Quite.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I will. I'll start it off. I was gonna start with things before Fulgrim. They kind of happened and at the same time, so I don't think it really matters. But basically, the Legion's origins are around, the same as everyone else around the Unification Wars, and they were mainly drawn from the noble blood of Europa. So it's a lot of noble children, aristocratic blood going into the Legion. So they're all very uptight.
Nepo babies.
Yeah, but they're actually, but they can back it up, thankfully. But they're all very, again, aristocratic, noble, high up there. And it kind of gives them a reputation, and it makes them very good with working with other people. So they actually, unlike the other legions who work as a big force generally, other than the Alpha Legion, they are mainly operating alongside the Imperial Army in small groups, kind of leading the mortals. And during this time, the mortals actually come to love the Emperor's children, like Salamander's tier, good at working with other people, kind, noble, heroic. They're just generally seen as heroes. Also kind of gives into their name the Emperor's children because of this nobility aspect. And while that's all happening, Fulgrim, little baby Fulgrim, little baby boy, beautiful angel, perfect little boy, lands on Chemos. I don't know what the right way to say it is. And
Chemos, I think.
I
Chemos.
say Chemos, but who knows?
I think Chemos sounds cooler. And on Chemos, it's the most beautiful, angelic, perfect being they've ever seen, prettier than Sanguinius. I'll die on that hill.
Lies.
Well,
It's
to
they
be fair,
actually
they were born on a mining world. It's not like they've seen much beauty. Come on.
so they actually said that in his Primarch book. They specifically mentioned
Easy.
he's prettier than Sanguinius, despite not
Easy.
knowing who that is.
Which is a really messed up thing to say about a baby. It's like, guys, what
Okay.
is going on?
Oh,
Get back
man.
to
But this
mines.
was like
Not
literally
like
a divine baby who fell
reap what
from
you
the heavens
sow,
to
Eli.
earth that looks like an angel, cherubim. And Chemos is this pretty awful mining world where everyone works ye old industrial revolution shift of 15 hours a day up in the mines when you're 5 years old. And Fulgrim, like every other Primarch, grows up pretty quickly, spends some
Fidget
times in the
steel.
mines. But okay, I saw the Minecraft movie the other day. And
Oh, why? Why did you do that?
Chicken Jackie.
It's peak. It's peak.
Humans been humans
There's nothing
humans have been
I
taken into
am
another room and
Eli.
shot. Honestly, it's been taken into
Chicken
another room
jockey.
and shot.
First
You
we mine,
child.
then we craft. Let's Minecraft. Yeah, woo! It was awesome. This has nothing to do with Emperor's Children, but that movie is an actual masterclass on marketing. Oh my god!
Oh no, he left. Andy left.
Never,
the audio this
seriously, the most masterful marketing ploy you could ever imagine. We all paid good money to go to that movie just to see the moments we already saw in the trailer. And yeah. So it hasn't. Anyways, everyone clapped at all the moments as well. By the way, including me. I
then
said
they all
chicken
clapped.
jockey when chicken jockey happened. I
Eli and all
said
the
Flint and
10-year-olds are just
Steel.
gonna be like,
I
yeah,
said this is a
go
fucking
for
game.
Fidget steel.
Oh my gosh! And there was a Technoblade mention, which was actually really sweet. I only know who that is because my wife liked Minecraft videos, but still, it was cool. Have you? Still off track. Have you guys seen the video where it's,
Oh god, we're not on track.
it's the guy filming the part where Technoblade comes on, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Technoblade!" and you can hear some kid in the background say, "John Pork." It's heartbreaking. Okay.
Emotionally scarred already.
Anyways,
I'm in my 30s. I barely knew what you were saying there. That was a lot of.
anyways, so Fulgrim grows up in the mines, like Minecraft Steve from the Minecraft movie, and unsurprisingly, he's very good at it, and he actually very swiftly finds a way to improve all the mining machinery and just the world in general. He takes over basically the whole world without fighting, just because he's good at talking and he's very pretty, and he makes the machine so efficient that nobody really has to work anymore. So everyone is able to turn to arts and culture. So the world becomes quite the paradise, full of art and culture. It's just a really good time. He has a lot of political marriages. Just kind of doesn't need to fight any wars because he's the goat. But that's basically Fulgrim's childhood to at all.
There's
I
only,
don't know if I missed anything.
there's only one thing. There was a group of people like the Silthi or something. There's a group of tribesmen who lived in like an abandoned mining facility, and they'd refused to like join. And Fulgrim basically said, "Man, I'm making this perfect world, but these people aren't going to join me." And so they killed them to even like every single one of them died. So he basically went, "Oops," kind of have to eliminate the things that don't fall into my perfect.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
But
To be
everyone
fair,
else was happy.
Gilliman had the same kind of thing on his homeworld, and he didn't butcher them all, I guess.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
he's lame. Fulgrim's cool.
Die.
Okay, that's basically it. There was really no issues when the Emperor showed up. He joined the Emperor. He bent the knee. I feel like there was a big moment, but I can't actually remember what he says. I feel like there's a thing that he says. But I guess the big speech was when he made his sons. That was the more important.
Had to cry.
He knelt
He's
before
like,
his
"Oh,
sons.
Dad."
I remember that. He knelt before his legion when they showed up. That was very nice. Back to the legion.
Sanguinius, wasn't it?
No.
No, better Primarch.
Back to the Legion, though. Well, Fulgrim was, making his perfect world. The Legion has been reduced drastically by the Flesh Blight, which is mega space cancer. Fabius Bile, who we'll talk about in more detail in a little bit, the Chief Apothecary, is going around executing basically the whole Legion, because he has to get rid of all the Blight in the Legion. And they didn't know this at the time, but Trazen the Infinite got rid of and stole most of their gene seed, which really screwed them. So they had barely any gene seed. Most of it was corrupted. They seemed pretty doomed at the moment. By the time Fulgrim got there was only 200 of them left. Fabius was one of them. Fabius, of course, still had the Blight, but it didn't matter. Lucius was one of them, I believe. I don't remember all the other names. But yeah. He showed up.
Akaduana, I think, was one of them. Akaduana.
He's
a
a
big name.
like,
Ginger.
duelist.
Yeah.
Abdemon, who is the one who's like in charge of the Legion.
First name is Abdomen. That's crazy. I remember reading that in the book and wondering why this is his name.
Gene seed is made in the abdomen.
I think it's Abdemon or something. He's he wasn't one of the original Europa ones. He was like a dark skinned guy who had like silver braids because of the Fulgrim gene seed. Which is kind of a cool Emperor's Children.
Twink gene seed.
Okay. I'll have you
Just like
know.
Twink seed. Just Twink seed.
I'll have you all know, chat. Only a few pages in the Fulgrim's Primarch book, it talks about how broad his shoulders are and how deceptively jacked he is. So I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, Fulgrim shows up. He saves his Legion, but the flesh blight thing is kind of making him think that maybe he's not so perfect, and it kind of sows the seeds of insecurity within him, because they are the perfect Legion. They strive for perfection. At this time, though, because the Legion's so small, they're so used to kind of just fighting in personal battles and in tight-knit groups. So Fulgrim now needs to teach them how to fight war normally, because their time of just serving alongside the army is done, because they're going to rebuild the Legion and have a big old time just like everyone else. Let it be known, though, that the army actually loves these guys, and they're like the greatest heroes of the Imperium. I guess I should have also mentioned detachment of Emperor's children died to the man, saving the Emperor so that he could get off the planet. Emperor honored them so much that he let them bear the Imperial Aquila. They're the only ones who got to bear the Aquila during the heresy, because they're literally the goats and the best Legion.
Try hard
anymore.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
The fitness pacer test is a multi-layered test. That's the same energy I felt there, Colin.
So it's the power of my voice having one setting.
So Fulgrim gets his Legion. He has to teach them how to fight as a kind of normal Space Marines. So they buddy up with the Luna Wolves. Fulgrim becomes very good friends with Horus, and he also becomes very good friends with Ferris. I don't remember if that's before or after, though. I don't know. Do you remember?
When they are just about to leave Terra, he meets Ferris under.
So it's before.
It's just before. Unless are you going to go into it? So just before he left or Terra.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before they join up with Horus, Ferris and Fulgrim meet each other, and they decide they can forge the better weapon than the other guy. Basically, they both go to the mountain. They put their heart and soul. It's like weeks or something that they work on these things. I'm pretty sure
3 months. I think it is 3 months.
And they make
bros.
They make.
Don't worry about all that crusading you need to do, guys.
You know that tune is just like "Live to win till you die, think you fight." That's playing when they're making their swords. It's very, very fun.
These two are also the polar opposites of each other. Ferris Manus is the ugliest MF ever. Fulgrim is the prettiest MF ever. They call him the Gorgon because he's ugly. So they're unlikely friends, and at the start they're not friends, but they spend months working on these weapons. Fulgrim forges the greatest hammer ever made, Forgebreaker. Ferris makes the greatest sword ever made, Fireblade. They could have tried a little harder on the name. It's a sword that is on fire.
Hey, it's Warhammer, bro. Iron hand with iron hand with iron hand. Like,
well, to be fair, the Emperor's sword is just called like the Emperor's sword. It's not got a proper name, and that's also with the sword that's on fire. So like,
but they turn and they see each other's weapons, and they see how incredibly perfect they are. That they kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but they give in to each other and admit that the other guy made the better thing, and calm down. and they trade weapons in that moment, and a great friendship is formed between the two.
They sharpen each other's weapons. What? That sounds a
Okay,
bit rude.
alright,
What's going
alright.
on?
You're
Real
4 inches in
funny,
ferrous,
real funny.
5 inches in. Sorry.
Okay, God.
Can I polish your hilt, brother? Whoa, calm down. Calm down.
Okay. So now Fulgrim has Fireblade made by Ferris. Ferris has Forgebreaker made by Fulgrim and is a symbol of their friendship and brotherhood. And I think you can easily say that they are the two best friends out of all the Primarchs. They're the two greatest brothers of all the Primarchs. No one really has a bond like those two do.
It's interesting that Ferris was forging a sword, considering I wouldn't have thought he'd be a sword
Yeah,
user.
it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, that always throws me off.
But I guess Fulgrim makes a hammer because he was basically a blacksmith / technician / engineer.
Well,
on
I guess
Chemosh.
when you think about like Fulgrim, he grew up in a mine, so hammers are good
Yeah.
for like excavation.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you think of a sword, it's like the most widespread form of like any weapon. The sword is the most versatile. Ferris is like it's all about perfection through martial skill. A sword is clearly the best kind of weapon. I will make a sword and make it better on fire. Like, ooh, very impressive. Like he's just flexing. He's flexing.
But it's very nice. It's very nice. After this, they do leave Terra, and they work alongside Horus and the Luna Wolves and kind of learn how to fight a war normally. And then they go on to fight on Murder, if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. And Eidolon is proven to be kind of a jerk during the conflict, and we'll talk about him later as well. Lord Commander Eidolon. They fight with the Blood Angels and the Luna Wolves, right?
Yes.
Anyone else?
They're not
From
Sons
the
of
hit-
Horus yet.
This is
Luna
from
Wolves.
the hit
Luna
book
Wolves.
Horus Rising.
Yeah, I've read that book probably 8 years ago. Yeah, but it's a cool book. Lucius has some fun times in this. He starts playing with Xeno stuff, with one of the super sharp limbs of the murder things. What are they called?
Megarachnids.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Colin
Yeah.
got it. Nice.
Colin, the Horus Heresy expert here.
Yes.
I think
yes.
this is one of the
We-
two books that Colin has read in the Horus Heresy.
Oh no, it's one of one.
I thought you read Angel Exterminatus. Am I trolling?
No, I read like the important bits with the Eldar.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you liked those. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I've read bits and pieces of many Horus Heresy books.
So after Murder, which is a success, a very bloody success, but a success nonetheless, we move on to the unfortunate plot device, the planets of Laerin, where they fight these wacky snake people who have kind of different. They have a caste system. We talked about this already in the Great Crusade, so I don't need to go over it that much. But they're snake people with different genetic types of snake people, and they're surgically altered. Some are to fight, some are to mine, etc. It's the ocean planet. It's really cool. They fight the war there. It's pretty bloody, but they do win. And at the end of the day, oh, there's a lair. Yeah,
There it is.
those look totally
Distinct.
fine. We should definitely go into their temple and take their stuff.
Look at that. What's going on
yeah.
here?
Yeah, no, I see
yeah.
no issues here with this.
What's that?
For the
What's that,
audio
brother?
listeners, it is imagine it's essentially a lower half snake body into a human torso with 4 arms and essentially an altered face with the longest tongue. And
Bro literally
too
came up
many
to the
teeth.
Emperor's children was like, I'm a snake. I'm a snake.
I wonder if Fulgrim is supposed to look like one of these things or not.
It's implied like
I'm
later,
That
yeah,
melt
like
do.
copying homework.
it's the perfect form, so to say.
Yeah, like Fabius is dissecting them and being like, this is actually like the perfect
Yeah.
being. Like what is that
That-
remind me of?
yeah.
Like
it's
the
cool.
alien from Alien. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah,
this is like a
Fabius.
perfect xenomorph. Wow.
We should slightly mention the Emperor's Children. At this is over 200 years of war up to this point, though, and the Emperor's Children are a little bit. They're not quite as noble as they were previously. They're a bit more like, you know what I mean? Like they're near the finish line of the Great Crusade, so they're a little bit more like, bro, we've got to try even harder, impress people even harder. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They've gone a
Have you
bit.
seen those Ultramarines?
Oh.
God, that's not fair. They got Empire. Oh,
Yeah,
come on,
they've
guys.
they've lost their way a little bit in terms of they're not.
Although there
immoral,
is
but, you know.
there is
Yeah.
something to be said about the Emperor's children who weren't present during the Lair incident got off with like not being corrupt. Like the influence was so strong that like there were factions of the Emperor's children who were like, I just heard about this. What do you mean? What? They
Yeah.
did a what? Ugh, okay.
Yeah. There was still a lot of nobility in it. They still pursued the arts a lot, kind of like the Blood Angels, I suppose, and even the White Scars. And they still worked well with their Remembrancers and Imperial Army. But yeah, they go to the Lair Temple, and the Lair are Slanesh worshippers. The whole planet is corrupted by Slanesh, basically. And they go to this temple where there's this big snake orgy, and there's a lot of pink
Ugh.
mist going around, and there's Remembrancers there, and
Music.
there's a weird dissonant sound going on that they can't really describe. Fulgrim takes the sword, and it's over, and we don't have to talk about it anymore. Honestly, that's the end. That's the end of the episode.
Here's a nice picture of the sword. Look at that. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'd pick that up.
To be fair,
Would
you
you?
take. We should build up the scene in terms of like in this like this is like the end of the fight, and they're going in to like mop it up. And
Mhm.
like they said, there's
Hmm.
colors on the wall they didn't even realize could be a color. Like there's new
Mhm.
colors on the wall. The music is like doing something to everyone. Like the Emperor children are like almost being sick, and Fulgrim just walks into the middle of
Although,
the slippery orge, so we say. And then he says,
Although-
after he picks up the blade, he says, "Kill them all, basically, kill all the Lair." And so they do kill the Xenos.
although isn't there like a fun fact with
quick
the
enough.
Emperor's children wearing purple, where like our brains, there isn't really I've heard there isn't really a color purple. It's actually just a lack of green, and our brain can't comprehend a lack of not blue plus what yellow. So it creates purple as like an illusion. It's basically like our brains trying to make sense of a lack of green, and that's what purple is. It's a
Colin.
weird color.
I have not heard that.
Can I ask,
I have.
with Colin previously using this history degree, I think you have.
All right, let's see what we
Was there
got.
previously? Was there an assumption like in ancient Greece they didn't have the word? I think was it for blue or something? They didn't have the word for certain colors, so therefore when they used to draw maps and things or describe scenes, they used other. Like they said, like things like the sky was like red or something or oranges only.
I have to confess, I do not know that.
I think it's like when I see
That
Critical
is
Assembly did a Total War Troy, they had like a nod to that. I think 'cause, like certain things are oranges and reds, and also
Maybe.
like weirdly enough, like there's some places in Africa where like tribes don't have the word for certain colors, so you can't like perceive colors like certain ones, but they have more words to describe colors in between other ones, so they can see more blues and greens than we can. Really weird, but very very cool.
Now, this is admittedly according to the first page of Google, but according to that, the ancient Greek word for purple was porphyra.
Which is similar
Porphyra.
I think they call the Phoenicians,
Porphyra.
which were related to the Phoenicians, which is Fulgrim's nickname.
Yeah,
Called the
Yeah,
Phoenician.
Fulgrim is known as the Phoenician now.
Purple.
To my knowledge, it was mainly because the Legion kind of came up like a phoenix. I don't know if they were actually referencing the Phoenicians or not.
I think Fulgrim got the nickname Phoenician. I think it's because he was seen as like some great thing that came from beyond or something, and then he would travel.
Well, I mean,
do things.
when you look at Chemos, he revivified their culture from like our machines are barely working, and he revived our culture, and he gave new life to our entire like civilization. That's Phoenix-esque, I suppose.
And similar to Phoenicians in real history, where Colin probably knows more about that. So if you so who they are, just very briefly.
I mean, they were.
Dog,
shut up. Not you, dog. They're going berserk.
Oh, Doug.
They were a trading empire that a colony of them became Carthage, who would beat the shit out of Rome, and Rome would beat the shit out of them, and
that's how we got Total War.
It was fun times. So yeah, that's that's Total War. I'm gonna go. I'll be right back. The dog is absolutely freaking out.
That's right.
All right.
So
Where were we with the Lair? So he picks up the Lair blade, and like I said, it's basically over from there. You can say goodbye to your nice, noble Emperor's children, the greatest Legion ever made. From this point on, from this point on, every Space Marine and every Remembrancer who went to the Lair Temple are corrupted by Slaanesh, and there's literally nothing they can do about it. They have no choice in the matter at all. They just fall to chaos over a slow period of time, and they kind of very slowly get more debauched. It happens much faster with the Remembrancers, unsurprisingly. People start to get very strange and debauched and
They're like
decadent.
smearing poop on the walls and like
Yeah,
making
it's not
statues
wrong,
out of
yeah.
each other, and
things get really, really freaky, and they kind of just fall into degeneracy very slowly. The zenith of this corruption is Becca Kinska's Meraviglia, where she tries to replicate the sound that she heard in the Lair Temple that she recorded, and it was kind of like making her go crazy. She plays this wacky symphony, and these noise marines show up. Oh, I forgot to mention, we mentioned Fabius earlier, that he was dissecting the lair and saying that these are maybe the perfect species ever made. He slowly convinced Fulgrim that if they're seeking perfection, then these are the perfect things, and now maybe we should be altering ourselves. At first, Fulgrim was not a big fan, but the sword, he picked up the sword and he was corrupted, and he slowly kind of gave in to Fabius's ideas.
It was slightly before
And
the
to be
sword. It was
yeah.
the sword
There
happened
are-
immediately after, because
Yeah.
Fabius is doing the dissections, and then he literally says to Fulgrim, like I think we see earlier, Fulgrim says what's like his biggest fear, and he says his fear is to fail. And then Fabius says to him, "What if we fail because we fail to make ourselves more perfect?"
Yeah. But
So
the
Fulgrim
first
is like,
time Fabius says it to Fulgrim gets very angry at him. But then he eventually gives in. And Fabius goes to work while the Legion's being corrupted at the same time, surgically altering a lot of Space Marines, and that's also where the first Noise Marines come from. He surgically altered them to the point of being cacophony, and they show up in Becky
even
Kinska's
before that,
orchestra.
he even does surgery on Eidolon's vocal cords.
Yeah, and
so
he
that
can
during
screaming stuff.
yeah, just before the Istvan free atrocity, Saul Tarvitz is there with Eidolon, and he just like screams at a warp singer, and he's like Sindel from Mortal Kombat. This thing just melts him. He's like,
Yeah,
"Ah!"
I
And,
forgot
like,
about that
I
fight.
got super
Oh my
vocal cords. Yeah, like,
Does
and that's
it?
his thing, like
Does it?
shrieking bish.
There's like there's a hint he does it as well slightly earlier, but I'll save when he like gets to it. Also,
Fabius does a lot of things under the table that he's probably not supposed to be doing.
There's also one detail I literally, because I reread the book recently, I didn't realize the recordings of the Leia like Slaanesh music. They were playing that throughout the Emperor's Children's ships, and Fulgrim had it basically on loop in his quarters for ages. So I didn't realize I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and does the Meraviglia happens after they meet with Eldrad, doesn't it? I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yes.
So before the zenith of their corruption, Fulgrim comes across a few maiden worlds. He checks them out, sees that they're very pretty and beautiful and wonderful, and decides not to invade them. At the same time, Eldrad is kind of shadowing the fleet, watching them, and he sees that they don't attack, so he assumes that they can maybe trust them, and so he parlays with Fulgrim, and it actually goes very well. I've never seen that picture before. I could use that a long time ago.
It's Fabius.
Yeah.
Fabius.
Yeah. Eldrad parlays with the Emperor's children, and it's, I don't remember everyone who he brings down, but it's Lucius and Eidolon are both there, and oh my gosh, I don't remember any of their names. There's like 3 other major guys.
Demeter, Marius, and
Marius
Boyrosian.
think of, yeah. But yeah, they share a meal together, Eldrad and Fulgrim, and for a while they get along pretty nicely. They talk about philosophy and their empires and stuff in general. And then Eldrad breaks the news to Fulgrim that Horus has been fatally wounded, and Fulgrim is in distress. He's in anguish, wondering if Horus will live, and Eldrad says he will, but it'd be better if he didn't, and then Fulgrim gets really mad, and then Eldrad explains exactly what's going to happen during the Horus Heresy, kind of cryptically, because he's Eldrad and he can never just say what's going on, but he does still explain.
He's stupid to get it. He's just too stupid to know.
He still,
You just don't get it, bro.
he explains the Horus Heresy.
1K.
And actually, Fulgrim, to his credit, lets Eldrad actually finish what he's saying, and he's able to convey all the information to Fulgrim, and Fulgrim doesn't completely freak out immediately, but then the sword in his head, which he has never realized that the sword is talking to him this whole time for some reason, it just seems to work.
So the lair blade's literally like, you're a high value man, bruh. You're a high value man. You're gonna put up with that. You're gonna take this.
And he literally,
Horace is a good guy.
actually,
You're
Andrew
gonna put up with
Tate
that.
blade,
Intolerable guy.
he has freaking Andrew Tate whispering in his ear, basically mind controlling him. At the end of the day, the lair blade is a mind control device.
It's his own voice as
unfortunately.
well, to mention.
Yeah.
Like, he thinks it's his own subconscious because it sounds
Yeah.
like his own voice, his own
Yeah.
head, basically. You know,
So
you have
again,
the monologue.
yeah, again, he has no choice. The Legion has no choice because the Horus Heresy was supposed to be like 5 books or something, so they kind of just needed to get them corrupted and be done with it.
You need
because
them evil
ultimately,
now.
yeah, the Emperor's children would have likely
Hmm.
never sided with Horus. They were very loyal, and Fulgrim loved the Emperor and was very, very loyal. But the sword says, "This Xenos is lying. You should kill him," and he says, "Okay." And then they fight.
Oakley dokley.
Fulgrim blows up an Avatar of Cain with his bare hands because he's goated like that.
Fuck off.
Without demon power, he fights a full strength Avatar of Cain all with his bare hands. He's literally goated. It's better than freaking
Ultramarines do that all the time.
better
it's
than
fine.
Ultramarine killing you. All right, it's still better than that. They
No,
fight-
that's an Ultramarine.
Oh my gosh!
I
They
think he
fight the
literally
Eldar.
chokes it out. Like it says, like his hands are burning. And he chokes it
Yeah,
out.
he doesn't suffocate it though. He
He's yeah.
crushes its neck and explodes it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome though. They beat the Eldar. Lucius gets a Howling Banshee blade, and now he's fighting with 2 blades because he's quirky like that. And then they go back to
Boy
orbit.
goated with the sauce.
I was about to say, before we get any further though, just the actual Horus Heresy. Andy, do you think we have some donos that were coming
Yeah,
out?
We
should,
got some donos to say the least.
I
Let's
was
go.
about to say, yeah.
Pancreas' silliest clown for $5.
Wow.
Theoretical.
Yeah.
A polite donation will get plenty of attention. Practical. Hairline.txt.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
I hate it.
Amazing.
Rack on
God.
gaming for $5. Salamander screaming flint and steel whilst touching Eldar children.
Hell, you
Wow.
got to put the
You got Flint and Steel.
Flint and
Thank you.
steel.
The Nether.
Drake
Why
on gaming
block?
for $2. Torching.
Chicken jockey.
Yeah. I've never heard a
That's a
theater so
soundbite.
excited. Oh my gosh.
Mork's
Bro, come
sounding
on.
off
Come
€5.
on.
Minecraft
Oh,
movie
give it the
sequel
$5.
better just be Garbage Man and Steve continuing to 69 for a full release film.
Oh, Eli,
So real.
I've got horrid sequel news for you. Paramount greenlit Angry Birds 3, which means they made the
Yeah!
conscious choice
Oh.
to go. We don't want a Transformers 1 sequel.
Oh my god. Well, if you
Also,
see
have you guys-
the Minecraft movie does, you think we can do the same thing and probably just make a bunch of stupid moments and then
You know what made me go, what? Liam Neeson is starring in a Naked Gun remake?
What?
I'm gassed.
I don't even know
Huh?
what that is.
I,
Is that a
I
guy
don't
with a
know how
gun
it's
who's
gonna go,
naked
you
or
know?
what?
No,
I feel
You know,
I'm
like
missing
Leslie Nielsen?
context.
No.
Like, he's got like white hair and he was a comedian. He was really funny and he was in like all sorts of films, including The Naked Gun.
We'll pretend.
And they're like, we're just going to remake this 30, 40 years later. Like, oh, okay.
I'm
Thanks.
trying to feed you
Anyway.
a dog and it wouldn't bite. Yeah, that's his ass.
You know, don't call me
document your
Shirley.
thing.
You know, that quote.
Yeah.
Thank you for the $2. Fulgrim, hey Ferris, you ever heard of Wincest? Come on, get that out of here. Get that out of here. Get it out of here. They were friends.
Parker Summerlin, $4.99. The Emperor's children turned to chaos because of one man, and his name is P. Diddy. Hashtag baby oil. Yeah.
Like a
Yeah,
baby
yeah.
or
Pretty
crazy.
sword, for real. Thank you for the 5.
Death's best friend with the 5. Emperor's children kiss the homies goodnight. Why don't you?
That's pretty real.
Yeah, well,
Pretty
the
real.
Emperor's
say-
children do it with tongues, so
I feel
The
like
Empress
I feel
kissed
like the
her
Blood
down the
Angels will kiss each other goodnight. They're
Mhm.
like,
yeah, they
Mwah.
give a little smooch.
love you, brother. Mwah. Little smooch.
Optimus Jedi, that's a crazy name. Thank you for the $5.
Mm.
Rob G in Trump voice. Fulgrim, he's crazy. He named his first captain Vagina. Then he fell to chaos like a total cuck, people tell me. Thank you for the $5.
He named his first captain Vagina. Then he fell to chaos like a turtle cock. People tell me.
Oh my god. China.
Knick Knack 3587 for $5. Gonna
Hey.
need a knife to cut through the glazing this episode. Lol. Glad I was able to catch you boys live. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. Good
Thank
to
you,
see
brother.
back.
Thank you. Bunny Cop, $5. Colin got to read Flight of the Eisenstein. Learn about our boy Garrow. Also, Bye Bye Puppies. Oh,
Nice.
Aw, you miss
It's a good
puppies.
book.
Garrow's neat.
He bald. He's the only
Profound
bald guy, not
opinion.
evil.
Truly. Glass Laughter with the 10.
Thank you.
Fulgrim. I'm jorking it, Fabius. I'm cranking it. I'm gooping it. I'm goofing it. It's bouncing on that shit. I be clapping it from tip to base, slapping it. Fabius, Dad, I hate you. Leave me alone.
I feel like you're gonna do that in a Rick and Morty. It's like, I'm jogging it, Fabius. I'm cranking it. I'm gooping it.
I've seen
Dad, I hate
Omni-Man.
you.
I'm
Leave me alone.
Viltruming it, Mark. I'm Viltrumiting it.
Colin kinda sounds like Omni-Man.
life. I am in unbearable pain.
And you should read this one. You got a good
Go on.
voice.
Oh wow! Thank you, man.
Who's
Thank you very much, Optimus Jedi, for the $20.
Trump PG? Is this another Trump?
Boy, yeah.
He cut my throat. It's true. My beautiful throat. People often say I have a beautiful throat, but I got an Eldar waifu, which made Fulgrim so jealous. I got Daddy's sword.
Gilliman does the Trump sword dance. Very good.
Crazy.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Crayonosaurus Rex for
Thank you.
$5 for no, fuck's sake, fuck God. Batteries for the buzzing throne.
Crazy.
Oh God,
Rabbits for the rabbit throne.
Jesus Christ!
Last one.
Vincent Orellana. Thank you for the $4.99, $5. Which chaos character would you choose to be your Secretary of Commerce or Federal Reserve Chairman? Wow. I don't know. That's a hard question.
Jesus.
Are there any trustworthy ones at this point?
This is the problem where they have like
No, but we're talking about profits, surely.
Cipher.
That's a cop out. That's a cop out answer.
Although he's
no
not
way.
chaos. He's not chaos. He's
Yeah.
loyal. Clearly.
Yeah.
Can't sue him if you can't find him.
I'd say like Harrow Master Kassar, because he's done a quite good job of being like, oh, we're just going to stick it out. Man survived a duel with Khan the Betrayer. I feel like he's Alpha Legion, so he knows how to do like finances. I'd pick him.
I would trust Fabius Bile. Maybe.
Why?
He's still a real one. If he believes in it, then he'll freaking
trust Fabius.
do the job.
Man who's just like, I'm going to do weird surgery. He's like, I'm going to. One of his was like, can I have two penises? Why not? It's an experiment. Like, Fabius, no. Stop it. Stop it, right? Look at this. This guy is not trustworthy.
The chat saying Perturabo. Yeah, that would be
He's
pretty
not
good.
trustworthy.
I feel like a
Look at that
Primarch is
face.
also too much to say, but Perturabo would be good. Your average Iron Warrior would probably do a decent job.
Going Egrim Van Horseman from Fantasy, which is kind of cheating, but
wow,
he was a
chaos champion.
He was a light wizard. They're probably good at that shit.
He has a dragon.
He does. It has two heads, two tails. Brutus, holy moly!
All right,
head.
Where were we? They just beat the Eldar. That's right. We're 42 minutes in, and we're not even at the Horus Heresy. I should probably pick up the pace. They beat the Eldar. It was a good fight. The Eldar actually put up a good fight for once in the Horus Heresy, to their credit. Fulgrim also beats a Wraith Lord to death with his bare hands as well. That's cool. He like thrusts his hand into its face and takes the Soul Stone or wherever.
Don't
the Soul
say
Stone
thrust.
is.
Please don't say thrust.
He's thrusting it. He's jorking it.
Oh,
Creaming, as Hal would say.
So
yeah, they win. They go back to the ship. I guess also sometime in this time, they do the fight that Hal was talking about that I still forgot about. And did they fight? They fight the Diasporax before the Mayor of Liglia 2, don't they? They're not completely insane yet.
The Diasporax is just before the Eldrad meeting. It's not that much to it. It's kind of a like Fulgrim has just been, like, I hate to say it, soaking in the corruption of the blade talking to him and the music. And
he was Mormon.
he he meets up with Ferris, and then Ferris kind of senses like something is off with him, and then they have a joint campaign where they hunt this proto ships from Terra / like early Terran colonizing ships, but now there's aliens and humans in it. Imperium doesn't like it. They attack them because they won't forcibly join them, and then Fulgrim doesn't take it well that first of all his captain reached the headquarters of the ship first, and also Ferris swooped in and saved his life. So Fulgrim is not himself at this point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Fulgrim's also around this time has a poop painting that one of the Remembrancers painted out of feces and the dissolving fluid of another Remembrancer. And he really likes the painting, but it's like making him go crazy, and he doesn't really understand why. And he's like distressed and really depressed and like actually going crazy, and he has no idea why. The sword keeps showing up in his hands somehow. That is in there too.
The painting starts talking to him as well. Like Fulgrim, I think he actually realizes like he thought he was going mad, and now he's realizing something's talking to him.
Yeah.
So he's like,
but it doesn't really matter. Around this time as well, Horus meets up with Fulgrim, and I've said it on the channel a million times before, but they're hanging in the void, the Emperor's Children fleet and Horus's fleet, and they're in the perfect spot to just blow up Horus's entire fleet right then and there. And Fulgrim is literally he's like gets battle stations ready. He's about to press the big red button, and then Eidolon brings him his sword because the plot can't have that happen because the Horus heresy needs to happen. And he grabs his sword, and then all of a sudden he doesn't want to do it anymore, and he has no idea what he was doing. Stupid. Why? Whatever. Sword is a plot device. At the end of the day, you just gotta accept it, I guess.
Sword's literally like there, baby. Have a piece of cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So then he meets up with Horus, and Horus and Erebus are being chilling, giving Fulgrim an ice cream cone and telling him about the Emperor. Being chilling made me think of ice cream. Horus tells Fulgrim about the Emperor and why he's gonna go to godhood, and he abandoned them and blah blah blah. I don't know if there's anything other than that that's really important to mention.
But I think Horus just basically gets across the point that you thought the Emperor was like the height of perfection. Nah, he's actually holding you back. There's a perfection there's beyond that called this thing chaos that can help you find it, and the Emperor didn't tell you. The Emperor didn't tell you about it because he wants because you're gonna be dead in the future. You're not in the future. I saw you die while all the other Primarchs.
Horus literally going like, "Hey Fulgrim, Phoenix coin. It's gonna go to the moon. Trust me, bro. No rug pull. Just go for it. It's fine. Keep going. It's fine. Infinite profit. 5 extra inches. Let's go." Horus,
5 inches.
No. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. But Fulgrim and Horus is like Fulgrim's second best friend, so he kind of believes him. Yeah. He's still skeptical though for a long time, and then he finally just completely gives in. But
I think it's days. It takes 3 full days of talking, and then Fulgrim's like crying at the end of it.
Yeah, Fulgrim did not fall easily, and he didn't even have a choice to fall in the first place. It's really freaking lame, but whatever. So he goes back to the ship, and he told Horus, Ferris will join us. I'm his best friend. I'll convince Ferris that this is the right thing to do. So he meets up with Ferris. The Meraviglia still hasn't happened at this point, right? If I remember,
it's right after this.
Yes,
right after this.
He meets up with Ferris, and the Emperor's children are kind of parlaying, but he's told his sons to kill all the Iron Hands around if this goes sideways, which unsurprisingly it does. He talks to Ferris. Ferris isn't buying it. It's an extremely emotional fight. I can't read it without getting very emotional. And Fulgrim and Ferris fights, and Ferris
tears.
And Fulgrim beats Ferris. I guess
Fulgrim beats off Ferris. What?
Okay. But Fulgrim led with when the Emperor left us, it was the second most heartbreaking thing I've ever experienced. And Ferris says, what does that mean? And he said, the first most heartbreaking is that the Emperor is actually a really bad guy and he's going to turn into a god. And Ferris is like, what the heck are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense. Then they fight. Ferris explodes Fireblade, which is symbolic. At the time, Fulgrim's like, oh, he's dead to me. But then a moment later, he raises Forgebreaker and he's about to kill Ferris, and the Lairblade is screaming in his mind to kill him. But then he remembers he has a flashback.
This is the one thing he didn't take the Lair blade with him because he thought Ferris would see it and think it was weird he had a Xenos blade.
But the corruption is already in his head, so he hears this distant voice screaming at him to kill Ferris Manus. But the memories
gave him an STD. He's already infected.
Yeah. The memories of their brotherhood and friendship, though, was so powerful that it overcame the evil of the demon in that moment, and he just knocked Ferris out. It's really sad. Fulgrim says, like, you were my brother, Ferris. I would have walked to death with you. Why could you not have done the same for me? Ferris says, I am not your brother. Fulgrim says, I will always, or Fulgrim says, you will always be my brother, and then knocks him out, and it's very, very sad. Then they leave. They kill some Iron Hands. The Meraviglia happens, which is the big symphony, and that's the zenith of the corruption. There's no going back from that point. There's no going back from the stupid Lair Temple in the first place, but now it's really bad. The symphony happens. There's Noise Marines playing instruments there. Demons are summoned. All the Remembrancers basically are killed, and now we're on Slaanesh's side. Hooray!
The Legion was split as well, so the ones that were deemed loyal to the Emperor were shooed away to Istvan 3.
Yeah, that is true. And then Istvan 3 happens. Goodbye, Andy. Have fun. Istvan 3 happens. And it's the same story as everyone else's. There's a part where there's a group of Ember's children fighting. They're desperate, and then Lucius shows up. And this guy with like a million scars on his face who looks insane, they say, oh, thank goodness Lucius is here. And then Lucius 1v20s and kills all of them because he's literally the GOAT. And then that's Istvan. I don't know if there's really anything special to say about Istvan other than everyone dies. Except for the Soul Tarvets live. I feel like he
No.
That's the moment of it. No. Which one is the one who lives and takes the Thunderhawk to go talk to the Sons of Horus? There is one who does that, isn't there? There totally is. I don't remember who it is, though.
I don't know. The parts I remember is like at this point, all like the previous Legion heroes who are like kind of seen as like, oh, they're the one, the actual outstanding Emperor's children who are like loyal and good. Yes, Tarvitz, Solomon, other characters, they get massacred by their own friends here, and it's whatever nobility was of the Emperor's children, that that one that started off in the early Great Crusade has basically been murdered over months. It's slowly there was a rift growing over months, and now it's like finally cut.
TGB sent me the picture of Chinese Patrick with ice cream. Thank you for that. People are talking about Rylanor in chat. Yeah, Rylanor the Ancient is entombed.
A hero
on
of the
Istvan.
Legion. He went off to do some secret mission because he was also betrayed, but we haven't seen him. He's somehow missing at the moment.
Yeah, he comes up later in a little moment. Okay, so Istvan happens. Yeah, that was Istvan 3. And then we moved to Istvan 5. Correct? It's not 4, it's 5. Was there anything important in between those two conflicts? I didn't think so.
I think the Emperor's children, lore-wise, start like kissing one another. Not even like a joke. They're like that. I vividly remember there was a bit where like I don't know if it's this bit specifically, but like it's implied that Fulgrim might have had like a sexual experience with Lucius and some others, and he mentions it in a passage somewhere, and I'm like, ew, you're not talking about swordsmanship. That was a double entendre. What are you doing? Ew. Leave him alone.
It's just a Game of Thrones.
That's
bad.
nasty.
He's a sword swallower.
It's nasty.
Yeah,
It's nasty.
It could be.
Sanguinius would
It
never
could
do that.
probably be interpreted in multiple ways. This is not. We don't know
It's
what
pretty.
if this
It's
is
laid on
official.
pretty thick. I'm just saying. It's
They had
bad.
the is it Merovingia performance thing. Slash demons appeared and all that good stuff. So
has
they
he
openly
decapitated
worship.
Eidolon yet?
Not yet. That's after.
Pretty sure
Okay.
that's after Isfahan.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
just imagine the most degenerate society you could think of, and that's the Emperor's Children right now. Their flagship is just crazy. It's like a extreme parody of Fulgrim's perfect society of culture and arts and stuff. It sucks. Everything sucks. There's absolutely no going back for them, not even remotely. I don't know if I've ever read about a single Emperor's Children like regretting anything or figuring out going back to the light. But that rarely happens anyways.
To be fair, there's a lot of buyer's remorse in one of the Fabius Bile books where he's got Clone Grim, and they're all like, we used to be like an actual legion.
That
bro.
is true. That is true. Clone Grim could have saved it, but Fabius is a jerk. So what are you gonna do? But that's 10,000 years in the future from now. So Istvan 5. We all know the story of Istvan 5. The Raven Guard, Salamanders, and Iron Hands are the loyalists on the planet. They're accompanied by the Night Lords, the Word Bearers, the Iron Warriors, and the Alpha Legion, and they are being sent to go fight the Emperor's Children, Sons of Horus, and World Eaters. Is that right?
And Death Guard.
And Death
Oh,
Guard.
well, basically, you got the originals from Istvan 3, so you got like Sons of Horus, Death Guard, World Eaters, and Emperor's Children, and then there's a bunch of reinforcements of Alpha Legion, Night Lords, Iron Warriors, blah blah blah.
Yeah. And then it's the Order 66 moment where the reinforcements kill everyone there. The real like known traitors are in the front, and they do the thing. Varys gets really angry when he sees Fulgrim. He runs ahead of everyone, goes to fight Fulgrim, and sad things happen. It's a very brutal fight. Varys actually almost beats Fulgrim because he's very angry, and Fulgrim also kind of has a moment of like, I don't want to do this, but then the sword invigorates him with demon power, and he chops off Varys' head. And at this point, Fulgrim is overcome with grief. The Lead Blade kind of like takes away all the corruption that it was putting in him and lets him see things clearly, and he just gives up in this moment because it's like he cannot believe what he did. It's literally rock bottom. He just killed his best friend in the world. And at this point, the demon possesses Fulgrim. The demon in the Lair Blade possesses him and takes over his body. And Horus
just lets it happen.
Yeah. Horus even knows this when the demon goes and talks to Horus, but I don't think Horus really cares if I remember correctly. He goes and brings Horus Varys' head and there's that.
There's like a weird also thing of like, at this point, Horus is a bit concerned because after the battle, Fulgrim racks up and is like, I had a great time. It's like, that's not Fulgrim. And it's like, I think it's Lorgar's like, oh yeah, like there's a demon in there. That's not Fulgrim. And Fulgrim's in the body just like, let me out. And it's like, but then Horus is like, you're a tool, you're a means to an end. I'll let him fester in that position. It's fine. And they make a deal with
we'll
like,
get him later.
Hey, if you just do what I want, like the demon literally is like, hey Horus, I'll do what you want. Just like don't try to like exercise me. And he's like, I'll allow it. Like that's how it goes.
Yeah, the demon does brag though, because it says to him it says, Fulgrim would have turned unless I was literally like pushing him, even when you were talking to him. So that I literally had to. He was about
me
to
inside of him.
All right.
Pause. He literally said like he was about to turn on you, but I had to give you an assist, so you owe me. So he was like, okay.
Yeah.
He says,
I wanted,
man. That's what he said.
I wanted to be clear to chat and to the world that Fulgrim was literally mind controlled and did not have any choice in becoming a traitor, and it sucks. But it is what it is. So that happens.
Although
and then
there's even the thing to be said about Horus being mind controlled, like chaos weird.
Yeah.
Chaos be weird.
But Horus had a chance to not with the whole Emperor's Spear and stuff, but
ever since Darwin, he was like trapped in the warp fighting for his life, and then he came back and he's like, nah, I'm fine with it. Like, what? Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Horus
That
fulfilled.
did-
the plot isn't always strong in the Horus Heresy. We'll
It's-
be honest.
I think it's meant to imply like Horus says like, listen, I'm not choosing Emperor or Chaos, but I will
So
in fact use Chaos.
I'm gonna
to
use
de-
chaos
to
for my
choose
own
a
ends
me.
and not
He'll
corrupt
said
it.
he'll dethrone the Emperor to prevent the grimdark future, supposedly, and then he'll become the master of mankind. And he's willing
Horus
to
literally
use
like,
Chaos to do it.
I'm going to escape the Matrix and get 10 Bugattis, and that's Horus at that point.
Horus is
Oh.
delusional.
Gosh. Yeah, this is what it is. Then after this happens, we have the Reflection Cracked story, which my 10-year-old self it's very confusing to read as a child. I was having a very
Yeah.
hard time comprehending that book because it doesn't. What I remember of reading it 10 years ago, it was really hard to tell if they actually saved Fulgrim or not.
There's a back and forth where in the story, like the Emperor's children are basically saying they're just because the Horus Heresy is in full lock, warp storms are like everywhere, and the Emperor's children are like attacking planets, and then they attack some, and they think even the Emperor's children start to think this doesn't seem like to make any tactical sense, even in the state they are now. And they think Fulgrim is like his movements are a bit weak, and he's changed somehow. He seems even more vain and horrific. And then there's like parts where like he speaks to Fulgrim speaks like reflections, and it's trying to imply like you can't tell is the demon still possessing Fulgrim or has Fulgrim taken back his form, and then the demon is like trying to harass him again. It shows him like images of Ferris, and it's a bit all over the place in terms of like it's like a mystery of like who's actually
And
Fulgrim.
and then my favorite part of Emperor's Children lore is that like Julius Caesar, the first captain, Fabius Bile, Marius Vivosian, Lucius, they're like, we're going to stage an intervention. Like, really? Okay, go for it then.
Yeah,
Emperor's
Fabius
children
Bile
he,
comes up
he
with a
needed
way
the
to.
DARE program.
They somehow exorcise the demon by causing pain to Fulgrim.
They get
Basically.
50
It's a weird one
boys.
because it's like,
what's the beam? It's like,
well,
I want 50 men. Hard
the thing
men.
is, they like they tie him down on a table, which is not sus at all. But the thing is, the plot twist is that Fulgrim was like, oh, actually, I was waiting for the opportune time all along. I was waiting so I could understand chaos intimately by being right inside of it. And now you've kind of forced my hand, and now I have to retake my body because I was in control all along. And actually, the demon wasn't shit. So actually, you guys, I don't mind that you got me out. It was a bit of a drag. But yeah, thanks, Fabius. I love you.
There's a
okay.
I do find it difficult because I'm sure even with Eli, a lot of Emperor's Children fans find this bit like quite annoying because it doesn't come across really well. Like what they imply, like the demon says, "I know, I have every single memory of Fulgrim because I possessed you. Like I know you," and then Fulgrim is implying back like, "Oh, but you realize I have every memory of you now." So essentially, in my head canon, I assume that means then Fulgrim essentially the only way to basically retake his body, which he was trapped inside the painting that Eli described earlier in the La Fenice theater where all the crazy stuff happened. It implies like Fulgrim basically had to become like he had to do what Lorgar or like Magnus or other ones did. They had to learn of like demon craft, and I assume he's kind of trapped in like a Slaneshi realm thing. I don't know how otherwise how would the painting work? And then he basically is corrupted over a few months inside the painting, and then he switches places. But because he's such a bastard, and like the whole point is like he is utterly like selfish and he's a worse version of himself now. He decides like it's actually fun just to mess. Like he actually doesn't have an interest in winning a war anymore. He just wants to do funny stuff and have fun and experience things. So he messes with his sons being like, oh, I wonder if they still think I'm the demon. So while they're torturing him, he's literally screaming like, oh, this is so painful, I love it, keep going. Like it's such a contradiction. And then when he supposedly like, was it when Fabius is like testing his DNA and he's like saying his DNA has changed, something is happening to him, And then Lucius like, get that motherfucker, something's wrong with him. And then Fabius like looks him in the eye. Fabius looks Fulgrim in the eye and basically goes like, oh. And then Fulgrim just stops playing. He just stands up and gets out of the restraints and being like, yeah, I was playing a game the whole time. I'm just having fun. In fact, you should have clocked on earlier because you should be better and more perfect.
Fulgrim literally on the like table with the restraining stuff is like, no, keep going. It's like, Dad, no, stop it.
It could be.
It should have been a full novel, honestly. It's a bit too much for a short story. It should have been a bit more. Yeah. Like it was early on Horus Heresy writing, so I give him like, again, if it was only 12 or something 10 books, it would be fine.
Yeah.
But it was 50 books in the end.
Yeah, they did. They could have done a lot of better job if they had hindsight, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah. Around this time, Fulgrim also decapitates Fabius. I don't even remember why. He just got angry at him and
Eidolon.
his head off.
Sorry,
I meant
basically
Eidolon. Fabius fixes Eidolon.
Eidolon questioned his orders, and he's like, "Who are you to judge?"
Yeah,
and then they drink his blood for fun. He like pours it in their like goblet.
Why not?
Wine, and they're like, "Let's drink our brother's blood." And they're like, "Okay." Like peer pressure is a big thing in Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here.
But Fabius keeps Eidolon alive because he's Fabius, and I don't know how, he just does it. He's the goat, I guess. And now Fulgrim and Perturabo are hanging out before the Siege of Terra, and it's Angel Exterminatus book. They're actually pretty good friends. Actually, like, it's surprising Perturabo and Fulgrim get along pretty well. You also have Sharokin. Is that his name? Sharokin, Nikoni, Sharo, something like that.
Nikona Sharokin shoots this bish in the face, and it's so good. Oh,
yeah, he's a bit of a he's Gary Sue. Is that what they call him?
He's the Born Ultimatum of Warhammer.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Gary Stu. He can just do everything and is the best at everything.
I don't know. I like him in Wayland because it's like
he's cool.
To be fair, he snipes him in the head, and even though he shoots him like in the eyeball and it goes around his brain, Fulgrim survives because thick skull and Primarch stuff. And you're like, you.
Yeah, but Perturabo's actually like sad when Fulgrim goes down, and he like carries him, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. But
look at this gremlin in the corner, bro. Gremlin.
Hey. It's me.
Yeah, Fulgrim's is in full Bruner state right now.
I'm Fulgrim.
For the audio listeners,
shut up, Fulgrim.
I'm here too.
The cover of Angel Exterminatus, the book, which is a little bit strange. Fulgrim looks a bit odd in there. Bit odd in it. Yeah.
Angel Exterminatus, from what I remember reading it many, many years ago, is basically Fulgrim baiting Perturabo to this planet while Sharokin advances the plot the entire time because he can do literally everything. And then Ferris, they go to this Eldar planet and they kill a bunch of wraiths.
In the Eye of Terror. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the usual Eldar suspects of getting
they were. Everyone who wasn't a Primarch was having a bad day.
Well, isn't the whole thing that the site they're at is where Slanesh was, like, it's the fulcrum to where Slanesh was born. So Perturabo doesn't know this, but the reason they're going there is because it's like a place of power in Skyrim where like you go there and you can be like,
need a third word.
Power.
Yeah. And so Fulgrim brings Perturabo to this place just to kind of get him inside. And he goes to the center where this big thing of power is and starts gooning. He starts straight jorking it. And Perturabo's like, are you kidding me? And just whacks Fulgrim in the face and knocks him out. But it doesn't matter. The transformation still happens. It's a little fuzzy in my head. But
it's basically that it's not just a place of power. He also needed a Primarch as like a conduit to fuel the apotheosis of his forms. Like if you didn't go with Perturabo, it would work. So he actually draws strength from Perturabo to fuel the ritual, and you needed like a Primarch to do that. So it's like from the get-go, not a very brotherly thing to do.
It was also that the planet itself was it's a tomb. It was like a hollow planet where like there's a fortress above which they enter. Fulgrim runs ahead by himself, on all fours.
Yeah.
And then he
like me on Dota 2.
Yeah. Fulgrim ran ahead, and he realized like where they are is like it's a graveyard, but like it's an Eldar graveyard, so it's not like there's not tombs or anything. There's like millions of Eldar the stones. What are they called again? Sorry, the
Spirit stones.
Millions of spirit stones, and then like they channel into the hollow planet into this like sort of when Darth Maul fights Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, there's like there's little huge pillars of light, kind of have a huge pillar of light in this planet, and then Fulgrim with the power of he gave Pertwee early in the book something called the Maljator Stone, which like is a stone. It was a gift with a cloak on it, and then the stone's been draining Pertwee's life energy. That, along with the Eldar sacrifices and Fulgrim's body transforming, as Fabius stated in the stuff earlier, Fulgrim was ready to do something big.
Takeaway: if ever Brug gives you something as a gift, always assume it's going to drain your life force, and so don't accept it.
Yeah, Fulgrim's a real jerk at this point. Pertwee is like actually being nice to him and is actually like being buddy.
He's not hitting him over the head with his hammer. To be fair, there's one point he's like, "I'm in charge." Boff.
And this whole time, Fulgrim's just been sucking the life out of him and using him. It's
to be
fair,
Fulgrim
been edging him this whole time.
To be fair, Pertwee he beat Fulgrim up in the book because the Emperor's children kept inviting Iron Warriors over to their ship and like slowly corrupting them. They're like, "This is wine made from the tears of the innocent," and I'm not joking.
That's a good reason to beat someone up. I'm just gonna say it.
Pertwee literally he does like, "This is a clock made by a Vulcan," and then Fulgrim's like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." And he's like, "Look at it," and he starts beating him on the head with it.
To be fair, the whole point of their disagreement is Fulgrim is literally like, "You're basic. You're a basic bitch. You're not in charge. You're not the War Master. You're basic." And then he's like, "Well, I've got a hammer."
Yeah, Pertwee is the classic putting the Chaos Primarch in their place. He's literally the Tard Wrangler of the entire Horus Heresy.
I have something in the Discord that for this wonderful moment.
Do you?
Can we even show this?
Yeah, it's yes.
Yeah, we can.
It's a Doge meme. What do you mean? Can we show this?
I hadn't seen it yet.
Is this in general?
It's a picture of Pertwee with a Doge face.
It's in like the Lorecrimes Discord.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah.
Check out the Lorecrimes if you wish to see the ongoing memes throughout the episodes.
Yes, join the Discord, which link is in the description of our video, I imagine, and you can see the meme that Colin posted. I don't know. The link is somewhere. Maybe it's in our thing. I don't know.
all I'm saying is that Pertwee and Vulcan had a hammer moment, and Vulcan's was better. So all I'm saying is like it's also a hammer is a better one than Pertwee.
It's with Fulgrim's own hammer.
Yes.
Oh, we've had a major appearance in the chat from a long lost brother.
Crimson Glory.
So maybe we should read some donations.
Yeah, but I guess we need to get to these donations.
Let me just put some art in the way for now. I'll just put this cool one from the new codex. Right, so let's go through the donos. So Donkey Man USA for $2. Colin, that Two Tails comment was foul. You eye funnier.
Eye funnier.
What does he mean by this, Colin?
Don't worry about it.
Crazy.
We don't need to worry about what. I will just look up Two Tails. Go on.
Ian Schneider, $2. What is on the Emperor's Children workout Spotify playlist?
A lot of EDM.
So much. What's it called?
Charlie XCX.
Kickstart my heart. What are they called? Motley Crue. Lots of Motley Crue. I would say.
And Cher. For some reason.
Tom Warren, thank you for the $2. Horse, from my point of view, the Emperor is evil. Yeah, basically.
Well, then you are lost, said Sanguinius. Yeah.
That is sad.
Gavin Bob, thank you for the $5. World of Darkness lore? That's epic, gamer.
Dude,
the Masquerade?
The Blood Bowl?
Gavin
Bob, not Gav and Bob.
Another Colin mention.
All right, Pancreas, he's back. Silly's clown, thanks for the 10.
Go
Colin,
on.
the type of guy to say you think you the drink, bitch, you ain't even the cup before auto-resolving a fight between Karl Franz and Vlad von Karstein. You can't fight cavalry.
You ain't
Correct.
even the
Crazy.
cup.
Crazy.
That's awesome. You ain't even the cup. That's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
That's great. Alpha Omega for $5. Just like with Colin, the demon poop syphilis has advanced too far into his gonads.
I
and
have
then-
diabetes,
Crazy.
not
Crazy,
poop
bro.
syphilis.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Jesus Christ, people.
Poop syphilis. Bro, what?
Bunny
Very-
Cop,
Appropriate
thank you for the $5.
No, it's not appropriate.
for the episode.
Oh my gosh. Istvan 3 was okay. I liked Istvan 2 more. It was before the Legions got real big. Istvan 5, though, was them totally selling out.
God,
Yeah.
that is funny.
Yeah.
Hello.
Ismail
Colin.
CZK20. This is for Colin.
What am
might
I
be
looking at?
Thank
Hi, Cologne, aka Coln, aka Pancrase. You're nice.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
you. Thank you for that.
Our Czech brothers.
Big one here from Christopher Steves.
Oh, thank you.
Just finished the Shade of Cain book and
$20.
started Gotrek books from Realm Slayer.
Nice.
Here's money to bribe you into another Gotrek and Felix
Well,
episode. We will
well.
get round to that.
Yeah,
Say
that
it,
bribe will be
speak-
expected.
Yeah, speaking of
Thank you very
that.
much.
We'll get there.
Oh, here we go.
Uh,
Classic. Shalaxi's wettest grip. five
Do not
Canadian.
say that is classic.
Sorry, I
Classic.
missed the stream, boys. I'm getting a new kitten named Grimgor, so I've been
Nice.
prepping for his conquest. But wait, I missed the
Yeah.
last bit. What was the
Oh,
last
sorry.
bit?
Oh, sorry.
By the way, how's a sticky thatch? How dare you?
I was trying to save you
Oh,
for a
man.
second.
That's a tough
Oh.
insult right there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you though, Chillaxy. And thank you, Groin Ass, for the TRY22. I don't know what that is. Turkey? I don't know. AE did pretty better justice than it did Fulgrim. Yeah.
Turkish. Yep.
Right.
Fulgrim was a whole gooner in Angel Exterminatus.
Is
most
there also
certainly,
a
and
mythic?
Trouble was the real
Yes.
one.
Whoa!
Crimson
you.
Glory.
It's been a long
Ooh.
time, Crimson Glory, indeed. Thank you very much for the
Thank
$50.
you so much.
Thank you.
Jesus
We love you.
Christ.
We missed you. It's been a long time, brothers.
Yeah.
The nails are biting with this cast's topic, but I finally caught a live stream after months. We're very glad
Yeah,
you're
man.
here.
Good to see you back,
I've been
man.
wondering where
Good to
you
see you
are,
back.
so I'm glad you're here. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Alpha and
Appreciate
Omega, $2.
yes.
I thought Colin would stroke out reading that.
It was
I mean,
good.
the things we've read for like the stuff on this channel, we've been through it.
Thanksgiving. Bill.
We're on a list somewhere.
Mark, you know.
Oh, all right. So Angel Exterminatus happens, and then in that book they fight the Raven Guard. Kind of. I barely remember that.
The Shattered
part, but-
Legion, were kind
Yeah,
of
the
bad.
Shattered. They
Yeah,
fight the
it's
Shattered
like-
Legions. Shuriken adds
Mostly
to
Iron
his.
Hands, really.
He adds to his achievements among killing Primarchs and being invisible, and kills Lucius in a duel, and doesn't feel any pride. But it doesn't matter because Games Workshop
Would love
will
to
not
see it.
give Lucius's
To
respawn
be,
mechanic rules.
to be fair, this was his death before he became the Eternal.
True.
So it's literally like, you ain't shiz. And then like, now he's got cheat codes activated. He's chasing that Shuriken bite
Yeah.
ever since,
Yeah.
which is pathetic. I hate him.
It's
Alright.
what's
Yeah.
the rules for
Hate
his
him.
stuff, isn't it? The fact
Yeah.
that his killer had no pride in killing
Yeah,
him.
but
Well,
there
this
are no
Shuriken-
rules for Lucius's
Wait.
respawn mechanic. They just do it. They just put him in stupid situations and then make it happen for no reason.
A
When they didn't have to
Necron
write the
killed
book
him
in the
and he's
first place.
back.
Yeah, they
something
didn't
good
have to
happened.
write, they didn't have to write these books. I don't know what goes through their heads when they write these stupid moments. But
Something good
Whatever.
happens to Fulgrim, though.
oh yeah, sorry. Fulgrim is now Giga Chad handsome Snake Man, and gets his final form that looks awesome. Shout out to the
Hold on.
30K Fulgrim model. The new one looks like a complete Gooner City, but he was a handsome guy back in 30K. But
You
he
sit
can
to work
see-
for 10,000 years and see how you look.
None of the other guys look any different. Why does Fulgrim look different now? Oh my
Hey, what do you
gosh.
mean they don't look at Angron?
They're demons. They look
he's
like
the
demons.
first-
Demons don't change.
Man
Demons
has
don't
wings and
change.
hooves
Oh
and
my God.
everything.
Hooves.
Oh,
He's the first demon prime.
Mortarian stank.
Yeah.
Oh, moth
Yeah.
arms. Moth
Yeah, but
wings.
Demon Mortarion 30k looks the same as Demon Mortarion 40k and so on. But I digress. It's fine.
I don't want to think about Mortarian.
Should I show off the
stank.
gutters, Eli? Will that make you happy?
What'd you say?
I'll show off the gutters.
Yeah.
I'll show off the
Yeah,
gutters.
yeah,
Here we
he's-
go.
Fulgrim's goated.
The
Fulgrim's so
content.
goated. He's now at least gone from there he is. He's at least now gone from annoying, possessed, chaos corrupted regular Fulgrim, and now he has super demon powers. So even though he's still a jerk, he's beyond powerful. According to Rogaldorn, he's the most powerful Primarch. Literally the goat. Not my words.
To be
More
fair,
like
Rogel said that like
stupid.
on the enemy side because Jagatai was already on his side, so they didn't count Jagatai.
Oh
which
yeah.
makes sense.
Look, I'm just gonna say it.
Beat Mortarian
gonna
twice,
say-
he could beat this
I'm just
guy.
gonna say it.
I don't
If-
care how
if-
many arms you got, you're gonna
if
get bested by the
Mortarion-
Khan.
If Mortarion and the Khan drew, because Mortarion basically killed him, Fulgrim would beat the Khan.
Twice.
I'm just gonna say it. Mortarion's not
Fulgrim would beat
not exactly
Fulgrim.
known for his duelist skill. So
No, he's like the Chikorita
But he is
of
big
like
and fat.
starting
he's
Pokemon.
big and fat.
He's just you beat him. And he's like, you got so much HP, ain't got no strengths.
But yeah, that's Angel Exterminatus. Did anything important happen between that and the Siege of Terra?
There's the new
There,
Eidolon bird.
there. I was going to say, there's the bit where Lorgar tries to convince Fulgrim to betray Horus to join his side to be the new War Master, and
I
then
read that.
at the
What
end
the
of like when it's like they're going to like do their coup, Fulgrim goes, "Nah, I was just messing," and then Horus beats the shiz out of Lorgar and goes, "You get the hell out of here! You're not coming to the siege. You are uninvited.
Yeah,
to the
from this
siege.
point,
You're not coming to
from
my
this
birthday
point on-
party. You suck."
from this point on in the lore, anytime Fulgrim is going to make a major plot difference, he decides that he gets bored and leaves, or he just wants to be funny and silly and doesn't do anything.
But again,
Which is exactly what's going to happen when he fights the next loyalist Primarch, by the way. He's going to say, "This is boring," and then he's going to leave.
But again, it makes sense. Like even when the Emperor's children attack Holy Terror, they're too busy trying to like capture
Yeah.
people to like experiment on, rather than like they don't care. Like
Yeah.
if you were literally like on all the warp dust you could imagine,
Yeah.
and like
It's just such an easy cop out
picking
for
up
the
and
writers.
doing like
It's
Chardonnay.
really- It's just such an easy
it
way
is,
for
but
the
it
writers to
also-
get their characters out of
but
things, which is so classic.
But it
Warhammer.
makes sense. But the trouble is, it's literally like that would be exactly what they
Yeah,
do because
yeah,
they are the
I agree.
exemplars of we get distracted. We are the ADHD legion. We get really easily distracted and we do what we want.
Slanesh corruption kind of sucks.
I can play loud music when I want, Mum. Like that's the legion.
Yeah,
Excess.
yeah.
There's only a small part. I'll have to say it for the Eidolon part. I'll talk about it later. But Fulgrim, Horus summons him once to like corrupt this night house on this world when Horus turns into actual Chaos Horus, not just Chaos Tool Horus. Apparently he kills some salamanders at one point or something.
Classic.
But at this point, Fulgrim is essentially he's just like Andy said, he's just kicking it up in the warp. He's doing foul stuff with other demons. And then Lorgar showed up and was like, "You need to go fight the war, Fulgrim." And Fulgrim literally went, "What war?" He literally said, "Which one?" He's like, because obviously we don't know what time. There's no time in the war. We don't even know how old Fulgrim is at this point. He literally says, Fulgrim says, "I can't be bothered. Why go out to the material universe when I can have all this stuff here?"
Yeah.
And Lorgar's like, "No." And then, yeah.
You know that
And
scene in
so-
Avengers when
kinda
it's like
spitting.
Thor is playing Fortnite with-
He's kind of spitting.
and
Yeah.
he's just like, "Oh, what's going on, Thanos?" That's him.
Yeah,
but
Fulgrim's
worse.
playing Fortnite with Shalaxi. Shout out to Shalaxi.
Yeah. And Marathi via a
he's a-
different server.
He's
Well,
a streamer
Shalaxi's
now.
worked as
Fulgrim's a
Griffith
streamer
in,
now.
in the chat.
Yeah, Fulgrim is a straight gooner at this point and will never be reliable ever again, most likely, unfortunately.
Eli, serious question: if Fulgrim had an OnlyFans, how much do you reckon he'd make a month?
$1 trillion, because this is a galactic
Ooh.
empire we're talking about.
Destabilizes every nation.
The currency is in
Uh,
shambles.
Become one of the richest men alive,
Boon
along with
apocalypse.
Horatio the Great.
Emperor.
But yeah,
I'm sorry, Eli. Horatio Moggs Fulgrim. It's
he does.
Horatio.
Horatio's true
And
perfection.
let's be
Fulgrim's a
fair,
pale imitation
there is
of
also
Horatio.
and to be fair, there is also a reason we haven't seen Fulgrim be that active, because he's been suffering from a very long inflicted burn where the Khan told him, "I hear you do strange things to
Oh
your
yeah.
children."
Now he was actually being very mean and insensitive because Fulgrim was trying to help his legion at this time. And this is actually, it
shouldn't have
was
been a
not a
dick.
burn; it was just being a
He
jerk.
earned it. He earned it.
This was
Khan's not malicious. He does
a
it when
long
it's
time
necessary.
ago. This is
Khan's
And he
never
still
been
hasn't-
malicious,
And he
no.
still
few
hasn't
hundred
balmed
years
that
before.
wound. Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
If there was anyone who would beat Fulgrim, I would like it to be the Khan, but I know it's going to be
Khan.
Lehman Russ, so whatever. It's fine.
We'll see. We'll see. I feel like Lehman's got to have more like I fight Magnus, because that's my thing.
Well, you'd think,
Whereas, like-
but they had Gilliman fight Magnus, and instead of Gilliman fight Fulgrim, the guy who literally freaking killed him. But
Gilliman's fought everyone other than Horus. He's
Yeah.
fought everyone.
all right, we should
It's your turn.
we should keep things moving though. And actually, I think
Yeah.
it's pretty much going to go back to you, Hal, because we are at the Siege of Terra now, and I have not read the Siege of Terra books, but Hal has. I've only read part of Saturnine where Dorn talks about Fulgrim because I wanted to prove a point.
There is some. I'll say after as well. We're going to talk about some other Emperor's Children characters, but just like the Legion and kind of Fulgrim stuff at this point, the Emperor's Children scatter during the Horus Heresy. Once Fulgrim is ascending to demonhood, there's basically no central control. Different leaders amongst the Legion essentially vie for warbands. Eidolon holding the largest, and they arrive at the Siege of Terra, and the Emperor's Children don't really care. Like, the siege is mostly in the hands of Perturabo, while Horus fights the Emperor in the warp, and Abaddon, who's obviously in command of the Sons of Horus. But the Emperor's Children are kind of bored with it. They don't even engage in the initial attacks because the other legions seem way more interested in it. The Emperor's Children start to roam across the rest of Terra. All those who can't make it to the safety of the Imperial Palace, they get dragged. Like, they take live victims. I think they said they turn them into soups, chemicals.
Yeah.
They do all kinds of things we can't say on YouTube.
What is your name? Oh, my name is Greg. Lunch.
Yeah, they
turning you into a broth, dude.
Fulgrim is on the Pride of the Emperor ship for a little while because demons can't manifest on Terra, and he's like, even then he's like participates sometimes in the talks, but he's again just like indulging in things. He's doing horrible things to people. Finally, like Abaddon makes like a play with Eidolon to get Fulgrim and the Legion to attack the wall / the Saturnine Gambit / the best book in the Siege of Terra, where the Emperor's Children will be a massive distraction for an underground assault. The Emperor's Children do like this. They corrupt these like big engines, and then they start assaulting the wall. Like a whole legion fights on it. They're doing pretty good against the Imperial Fists, but again, like some of them, like they're a bit sporadic. They're not doing it like wherever they're fighting, they're actually massacring, but then they're also attacking civilians and things, and they get off track. Fulgrim appears in the wall. He's just having fun killing, and then Rogel Dawn shows up. Rogel Dawn
beats his ass.
He is not.
Rogel Dawn has
wait,
not even
Hal.
remotely. I've read the fight. Rogel Dawn wasn't even close to winning.
Wait. Before Dawn gets involved, Sigismund plunges his sword so deep inside Fulgrim that he has to like swat him. He's like, what the like the most annoying mosquito
he's
you've
about
ever
to
seen.
kill. He's also about to just kill Sigismund,
and then Dawn goes,
but he doesn't.
Say bish.
No, I read it
Daddy's home.
any other day. It explicitly states that Fulgrim is toying with someone, and then something just hits his leg, and he turns around annoyed, and he kicks Sigismund off of him. But then the rabid dog comes back in and does another swing, and the moment he cuts a
Yeah.
strand of Fulgrim's hair is when he gets annoyed. And
Yeah.
then
He's such a freaking goon. Dude.
Dawn shows up and says, poor
Oh.
Sigismund, he's
Sigismund, his something often outstrips his ability,
mine
his
doesn't.
enthusiasm
Yeah.
or something.
His
Mine
enthusiasm.
doesn't. And you're like, I often give Dawn a hard time, but I read that and I was like, let's go, Dawn, let's
We
go.
should mention Fulgrim is in. He
Uh,
appears in like his Great
Real one.
Crusade era form, so he's not a demon at this point because he's just walking around and having fun. Dawn just says at this point, you're getting distracted. I already know about the other half of the gambit. Your distraction is useless. You're just an idiot on a wall. Whilst Fulgrim attacks him, Dawn has a shield, and every time Fulgrim gets in close, essentially Fulgrim is doing damage, but Dawn having a literal shield is able to just keeps like battering him off to the point in which Fulgrim is literally like, ugh. He start again, as Eli says, unfortunately, he transforms into a demon form, but then he realizes like he looks around and Dawn has managed to like push off the Emperor's children slightly off the wall / contain them. Not to the point he can't kill them, but essentially the distraction gambit isn't working. So Fulgrim just looks around, he's like, you know what I mean? And then again, he just turns around. He sends his Emperor's children captains to go kill Dawn because he's just like, I'm literally bored of it. And then he leaves the Siege of Terror. So
yeah. Well, imagine for the layman, imagine Fulgrim is playing a game of Tetris in the background, and he's also fighting Dawn like a Dark Souls player, and Dawn is like fully put into like fatigue for stamina and like a shield build, and he's just like clonk. Clonk.
And
he's like, I'm not doing any damage. He has so much. Oh my god, the Tetris blocks are piling. I need to go play Tetris. And like, to be fair, Dawn also had like the like perk of he's the Primarch that knows the weaknesses of everything. So he would have got him. In my opinion, he would have got him eventually, but it would have been a slow burn. It would have been like, I'm going to kill you with 1,000 cuts. Because that's his Primarch ability. He can see weakness. That's why
he says afterwards that he wasn't going to win. To be fair, he said he was unbelievably powerful.
Being humble.
To be fair, no one can match the Khan's confidence. And
oh my god! Okay, we get it.
Jagatai's like, hey, I can't win against Mortarion. That's loser shit. I'll win. I'll die if I have to win. And he still won.
Like tick to Fulgrim. This is still at the point in which demons can't fully manifest / are weakened. So Fulgrim isn't like is why he manifests in a human form initially, because he's like he has to. So the Emperor's power / this close to the Imperial Palace, like Angron is literally like headbutting this invisible wall because it's so bad. And they said like if they get too close, the demon Primarchs will be scattered from / banished. But Fulgrim and the Emperor's children, they're almost like once Fulgrim leaves, because like you go back to the goes back to the Goon Palace. The Emperor's children just sort of are completely directionless and they just start attacking the rest of Terra.
Didn't Fulgrim know it was a trap and he didn't care? He knew it was just that he was screwed from the start. He was just there for fun.
Fulgrim literally just
I don't think he wanted to have a good time.
He just didn't. Honestly, he was just doing it because he's like, because they finally asked him to do something, and then he was like, I guess, he's like, guess I'll leave the pleasure palace.
Just like every demon Primarch, the moment he became a demon Primarch, his character was turned to a flat nothing burger. So
that's called the end of the character arc.
Yeah, but they still exist. The character shouldn't exist after the character arc. We should move on to a new character.
Yeah, but he's not human.
Not how Warhammer works.
He can't grow. He can't.
There's no growth. But it's a growing setting. It's an ongoing setting with no character growth. It leads to really bad stories.
Don't mention the word grow.
It was an ongoing setting as of recently.
But
how long were we at Cadia?
This is exactly why the Primarch shouldn't have showed back up, because they should have been done with their.
Or the 4th War of Armageddon that's coming up soon.
Yeah, but now we just have the same MFs doing the same things.
Featuring the same Greydite models you've been
If you couldn't tell, Eli does actually like Warhammer.
I'm Warhammer's biggest fan and hater. I will confess.
But that's essentially the end of their Horus Heresy journey, other than Emperor's Children kind of, unless you were saying Eli about them next.
Not really. The Dorn, I kind of already said it, but Thorin at the end of it says like they could have been what won the Siege of Terra. They could have been the traitors' greatest weapon, but they didn't know how to control them, so they were pretty useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tough to fight, but then you have to get them in the right place and to fight together, because now they're all selfish. They're all so enamored by their own desires and own thing. One guy's over there trying to like flay the person to make the perfect bed sheet or something. You can't concentrate on
Emperor's
attacking
Children.
the tower.
And then this other guy's brought out a Dance Dance Revolution mat, and he's just there in the middle of the battle trying to get a high score. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
The man is a person.
Their Fall to Chaos was the worst, and they also became the most unreliable force.
Was it the worst though?
I think it was.
I would
the
say
worst.
Death Guard's probably the worst.
I was going to say Death Guard. You smell a poopy.
Yeah, but are you that
That's pretty
surprised
bad.
that freaking Typhus and
The poop
Mortarion
division.
became bad guys? Like they didn't have that
Yeah,
much
but
further
I'm
to
saying
go.
it's-
For being
it's the-
honest. Oh yeah, it's
Smelling
grosser.
like a
Yeah,
poopy
but
is
that's
worse.
not what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
it's the Emperor's
Smelling
Children
a
Fall is a
poopy.
lot more tragic than everyone else's because it would have never happened.
I mean, I feel like World Eaters are worse because it's like their
But
dad
again,
didn't have a
World
choice.
Eaters aren't
They tried to be
surprising.
good
Crimson
boys.
Glory. The
It
Discord is in the
wasn't
description.
surprising, but it was sad.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
sad, but it was expected. The Emperor's Children thing wasn't expected, and it shouldn't have happened. Whereas, obviously, the
Bringing
World Eaters thing was going
aristocrats
to happen.
becoming like prideful wasn't expected.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I don't
Look at
think
this
they would have
guy.
ever turned to chaos.
Man even made his beak gold. What's going on?
Yeah,
Right.
well, that is indeed the Horus Heresy. In 40K, I'm gonna be honest. I read through the new codex. This episode was supposed to be just the new lore for the new codex, but there's like 2 pages of new lore in the new codex, so there's not a lot to say. But after the heresy, Fulgrim was being chilling for like 10,000 years and would occasionally show up to just have fun and kill some people, and then he would just go back to being chilling. Fabius went and talked to him at one point, and he wasn't really interested still. The new Codex lore says that Fulgrim would occasionally show up and he would fight wars differently every single time because of access and all that stuff. So sometimes he'll be this perfect strategic genius and wage the perfect war, and other times he'll just throw things at the wall and just for fun. People think that he has Fireblade again, and that he potentially has a Crone Sword, but there's no mention of the Crone Sword in the Codex.
Isn't he like one of the swords he's holding though on his model? Like that looks
So it seems
very Eldar-y.
But there was no mention of it in the Codex, oddly enough. He's back now. He's challenging his sons. The new book is apparently about him challenging his sons to break an impenetrable fortress world guarded by the Black Templars. That's pretty much all the new Fulgrim lore. But we can talk about the other characters because we haven't done that yet. So
yes,
I think what notable characters would be Lucius and Fabius and Eidolon and what's his name? Oh my gosh, the guy who eats demons and has a demon GF.
Xantine.
He's kind of important, I guess. I don't know. He has his own book. I've only read his short story, not the whole book, unfortunately.
It's he's an interesting character because he's literally like he's like a loser within the Legion. Like he has his own warband. He used to be part of the Black Legion, and then he got bored and left. So he's kind of being hunted by the Black Legion. His warband thinks he's a bit of a dick, and it's like
he is a jerk. Like,
but he's also in typical Emperor's Children fashion.
Yeah, in the book that he was in, it was actually like I read the short story. I don't remember what it's called. Something with perfection in the name, though. In his little short story novella thing, him and the Children of Torment, which are the Emperor's children turned Black Legion, him and the Children of Torment go and assault this Iron Hands fortress, basically. And he gets the short end of the stick. They give like a complete idiot the big job, and they give him the dumb job, and he's mad about it. They beat them, though. They go into this place, and he's been hearing the calls of this demon for a long time, and he's been having dreams about her, and he eats demons. He's buddies with this word bear guy who like feeds him demons, and he just like kills them and lets them rot to the bottom of his soul. But he's been searching out for this demon, and they find this chamber with an Eldar spear in the middle, and they were containing this demon. The guy who he doesn't like, who got the big job, is with him now, and he's talking about like, this is great, brother. Me and you working together. let's do it. And then this Redemptor Dreadnought shows up, and he freaking hamstrings the guy and lets the Dreadnought kill him so that he can go get the spear. And it's classic. It's classic Emperor's Children. But then he gets back. He gets the spear. He's now his Demon GF. And the leader of the warband is actually about to kill him because he poisons him. But then this Noise Marine named Vavisk saves him at the last moment because Noise Marines are actually goated. And like the nicest guys of the Emperor's Children, weirdly enough.
Yeah, Cacophony, yeah.
Yeah.
They're really chill.
They weren't at the Horse Heresy, but they've kind of, I mean, they still are. From any outside perspective, the Noise Marines are the most like insane MFs ever, but like in the Legion, now in the warbands nowadays, all they care about is playing the Song of Slaanesh and like spreading Slaanesh wherever they go, so they kind of just keep to themselves and help out.
And to be fair, his book is basically a story about how he stumbles upon a planet. The planetary governor is like, "Oh, you're one of the Emperor's angels, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then they take over the planet, and he becomes the ruler of the planet. And it's then just a slow decline of how badly that goes. And his warband turn against him, and the demon in his sword. This thing is his like wife, his waifu, and like. It's all about like, hey, but come on, surrender. He's like, no. And then like his own men turn on him and they ruin the planet and then they leave when it's completely just like destroyed. It's like, that's what happens when you let the Emperor's Children rule a planet. Yeah. It's bad.
Although I still think he's pretty cool. He's one of the more sane
he has zero
Emperor's
redeeming qualities.
he's at least kind of sane compared to the other guys though. And he is a good fighter. To his credit, he beats a Redemptor Dreadnought by himself, which is pretty cool.
Should before we do finish, like the last sighting we have of Fulgrim is a certain signal emanates from a destroyed world called Istvan.
Oh yeah, we missed two important things actually. You can talk about freaking Dreadnought Man.
As we mentioned earlier, Istvan 3, where the loyalists, Emperor's Children, the good ones, they all were basically annihilated by their own friends. Fulgrim returns because there's a signal, like a Legion emergency signal calling from the world. Fulgrim shows up. He sees 3,000 suns. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? Peers even deeper to find the remains of ancient Rylanor, Ancient of Rights, as he says. Rylanor is a hero of the Legion who, famously switched places with. I think he might not have initially been sent down to Istvan, but he switched places with Saul Tarvitz. Always in the initial.
He swapped places with Saul Tarvitz because there was a thing about like.
Saul thought something was up.
He wasn't supposed to go there, but like Saul was like, it's a bit shifty. Like, will you come down with me? He's like, yeah.
And he
there was like some shenanigans. Yeah.
Which was for an Emperor's Children to give up their honor of being first in was like Ryan was like one of the originals of the Legion. He's he was obviously famously wounded, so he was in a Redemptor Dreadnought. But he was when Istvan 3 happened, he was sent down to the lower levels for a secret task. I don't think it was told. But the signal drew Fulgrim in, and there was Rylanor still alive after 10,000 years. And Fulgrim started to have his fun. He was messing with him, toying with him, saying, you're going to be amazing once you fall to Slaanesh. Almost trying to like recreate what happened to him. But Rylanor is a true son of the Emperor and rejected Fulgrim and says, if I'm going down, you're coming with me. Tried to set off some virus bomb. The Thousand Suns kind of.
You know what it is?
Rylanor
went, call an ambulance, but not for me. That's what he did.
There was still unexploded virus bombs, even though Fulgrim's a demon, it doesn't matter. Fulgrim was like saying he was going to do horrible things to him and his soul. But the Thousand Suns did a force bubble to stop the virus bomb going off, but they were so disgusted with how Fulgrim treated his own son that the Thousand Suns just basically went, screw you, Rylanor deserves better. And they let themselves die so that Rylanor's soul could ascend to the Emperor's side. And Fulgrim's form got destroyed and he had to go recoalesce.
Yeah, it's a
more.
respawn.
Thousand Suns should not be on the side of chaos. It's so ridiculous that they are.
No.
That they
Well,
fight
they're not.
chaos.
Thousand Suns are not like they're not Tzeentch worshippers though. Really.
Yeah,
Most-
but they're still they sure look the part.
As every
Well,
Tzeentch worshiper
Yeah,
in
yeah.
existence. Oh,
it's more subtle
I'm
than
not
that.
falling to corruption. It's all the
Oh,
guys around
yeah.
me. I'm using it for my own
Leave my
gain.
They also didn't have much of a choice, but at least Magnus had a choice. He was just stupid. So
We
yeah.
did have some before we do the characters. We have some more donations. I think there was
Yeah,
some.
we also
ratings.
missed Fulgrim killing Gilliman, which is my bad.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Cryonosaurus Rex
Hey.
for $2. The new Fulgrim model should have had an Ahagao
He
face.
basically does. He
To be
basically
fair,
does.
You could probably 3D print that and put it on your miniature.
Don't
There's
don't
probably
give
somewhere.
the suggestions.
No, do it. It'd be
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
If it
Alpha.
fades.
Oh my gosh. Alpha Omega, thank you for the $5. Eli gets captured and Fulgrim decides he'd make the perfect Snake Man demon butt plug. That's crazy,
Wow.
bro.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Which way does he face?
Okay.
Is your head on the outside?
Whichever way you need him to.
Oh my god.
Coochie Slayer 69. Nice.
I think that's one of the
$4.99.
Gotcha and
Just
Felix
read the
books coming up.
Ooh. Just read the third Horus Heresy book. Lucius is not a real one. Carvet's cooler.
Marvis
Yeah.
is cooler,
it's
but
true.
Lucis is a better duelist.
Colin,
He's just a
what's
jerk.
yours one?
I would be delighted to. Yep, I saw why you want me to take this one. Non-dormient. Thank you for the tenor. Real talk. If Order wants to step its game up, it needs new models. Correct. Cathay's a good first step. Hopefully, we have another 10,000 steps ahead of us to take. Rip my Demonette, Dami Mommy Army. Please, James Workshop, you update the old Ash models. My life is yours. All right. I'm gonna say one thing about old GW models. I cried tears of joy when I realized that Sword Masters of Hoeth, you just put them in the base. Like, I know. Look, I know it's like, yeah, customization is great, but it's so easy, man.
They're just one piece?
Yeah.
Wow.
Except for the unit champions.
Wow. That games where Lord of the Rings stuff is like that too.
Jack N for $10. Might have already said this, but if I don't get a Trazen and Clone Adventures book, I am going to find the Black Library, and when I find it, I'll be in a Killdozer. Also, I'm gay.
There it is.
Thank you,
Hey,
Thank you, Jack.
said the thing.
Document USA $2. Hal uses the sounding rod of torment.
Yes, he does. That's
Oh.
official.
Do
Official
Do
war
not
crime
ask.
stance.
Do not ask where he puts it. Bean, when
Really?
the Eldar says something to Slanesh phobic that you got to hit them with the registered sex offender.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. Thank you for the $5.
Thanks,
And a
Bean.
big one
Oh my
from
gosh.
Anthony
Yeah.
Jackenfall.
God.
Thank you.
Wow.
God bless you. Holy cow.
Wow.
The $100.
Wow.
Jesus.
Thank you, Anthony. Jesus.
Thank you very, very much.
Christ.
Fulgrim makes me so sad, going from his beautiful speech during the Palatine Phoenix book to literally being the gosh darn worst POS in the galaxy, arguably. Yeah, I agree. His fall is the saddest by far, in my opinion. And the fight between Ferris and Fulgrim is so freaking sad.
I actually have to, after all the Fulgrim glazing, I actually have to contest it. I really do.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because
You
I'm doing...
Of course.
I'm working on a Fulgrim video, so I've read every bit of Fulgrim lore at the moment, and I'm realizing like he's not that guy in terms like he's actually not super nice in terms of. I think he only is super nice because he's really afraid of what people would think if they thought he wasn't.
Yeah.
He actually doesn't do nice things generally, other than for like someone like Ferris. And he doesn't like. He says he like wants to like build his perfect future for humanity and all that stuff. He does not like people. Like he doesn't respect human. Like Gilliman could respect human beings, or like you know.
He has an elitism problem.
Yeah, like Fulgrim doesn't actually really perceive like mortal humans have value in any way. Like he would have no like he doesn't consider them to be on his level. The only ones he considers worth talking to are people who are like artists or someone who are literally like the best in their field at something. He generally doesn't care for people that much at all.
Fulgrim is the typical Instagram influencer, confirmed. And here's the thing, like, as far as like oh, I feel sad for this Primarch. I don't have any sympathy for Fulgrim because Angron literally had like big spikes put in his brain matter. That's
Yeah,
pretty
but that doesn't
harsh.
make his.
He
But then
didn't
his
have a
fall isn't
choice.
sad because he already was screwed from the start.
We
He
can't.
didn't have anywhere to fall to.
How can he?
It makes it extra
How can he prevent that? That's like
Yeah, his
Fulgrim
story
could
is
have done
sad.
like a skill issue. Like Fulgrim had a skill issue. It's like, hey, maybe don't be cringe. Like Gilliman was like, hey, when Farron was like, hey, join Chaos, I'm gonna stick this dagger in. He's like, do your worst. Like Gilliman resisted the fraud of Chaos twice, and like so many loyalists resisted Chaos. Like the loyalist was like enticed by the what's his name, Kairos Fate Weaver, and he's like, hey man, you could come join our team. He's like, cringe as he put his blade through its face. Didn't see that coming. Was literally like verbatim what he said. Hey, you can see into the future. Do you see this? Like that was the line. And then Fulgrim's like, my sword, it whispers to me. It tells me
Can I also
stories when
just
I'm going to sleep.
point out
It's just a plot device, bro.
there's one scene which everyone points to, like the Fulgrim, like putting the child on his shoulders, telling raise humanity. Like the big scene, which is like his greatest, one of his greatest moments, supposedly. The whole thing is a show to get an assassination, to reveal assassins. So he puts a child, human child, on his shoulders, realizing like he's putting on a show to get shot at. So like I don't, and like that Fulgrim Primarch book does not do him like any favors. Like, literally, because it gets into his mind, it shows like he literally is an idiot.
And Magnus is a Primarch, so it's stiff competition. You're like, whoa.
He's an idiot
that guy
in terms
sucks
of like
too.
the human beings of that world almost kill him because they literally like, and even one of the human characters who works for Malcador says it's terrifying. He is like a child begging for praise. Like literally, they said like there's like they said like his arrogance will become the real thing at one point, and that will be terrifying. And it does come full circle.
Yeah, Malcador basically says like they were doomed to fail because they were so obsessed with being perfect. Like we saw it coming and we didn't do anything. Like Malk, what are you doing?
Classic. That's classic.
It was like it's the same way. It's like Fulgrim's only like the greatest Primarch in a sense. Like you can ignore the very glaring fact like he's an awful person. He's not the person he's pretending to be. Because I used to really like Fulgrim, and then the more I know, it's funny because the more I know about him, the less I like about him. The less I like him. Whereas like with Gilliman and other characters, like, I like Gilliman the more I read about him. Whereas like Fulgrim, even in his supposedly best moment, there's something really wrong with him.
He's a G, and in the first Horus Heresy book, he is great, but the book that was written 10 years later, they clearly had different ideas for his character.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
I
think that's just a skill issue on the author's decision making. If I'm being honest, same thing with Magnus, the stupid, awful character. I'm sorry, Mike, but
I don't gel with him on time because I'm aware like I don't fall for the whole he's such a nice guy. Like everyone liked him. We couldn't see it coming. I don't fall for that ever. So like so it's why I like I don't. I think his the Emperor's Children, though, are very... So getting into the character then of Emperor's Children, there's actually some very interesting characters. Luckily, they have some really well-written characters. We'll start with the first one, which is Fabius Bile, who is the Apothecary of the Legion, as Eli mentioned very early on in the episode. Just seeing the time now. When the Emperor's Children were being formed, they were taken from nobles. One such as Eidolon or Fabius, they came from noble families. Fabius, not giving his entire lore, but he was very much a tinkerer. He was like a bit of a scholar, quiet child, and then he would go on to be an apothecary in the Emperor's Children Legion. He's not really known for his combat abilities or anything like that, but Fabius is very smart. Weirdly enough, probably the only Emperor's Children that's ugly, which is quite funny. They give him the nickname the Spider because he kind of is this little thing held up in his little nest, his little laboratory, tinkering away. Fabius famously tried to save the Legion from the viral blight, hid the fact that he had it because he thought he was the only chance of continuing on, so he made someone else die in his place. Fabius is kind of obsessed in a way like the Emperor's Children are obsessed with things. Fabius is obsessed with finding the genetic secrets of the world. He reveres the Emperor in some way in terms like he's a fellow scientist. And throughout the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy, Fabius would push the envelope a little bit. So early on, he would just sort of, he does experiments. His knowledge is, he's probably the best apothecary in the entire, all the legions. By the time of the Horus Heresy, he just wants to go further. His knowledge needs to be better. Experiment on the Leia, starts experimenting on his own legion. He doesn't have a moral compass in the sense like his whole thing is, can it be done? So therefore, he does a lot of things. He famously would go on to create his own race of people called New Men or other things. But again, he'll probably have his own episode because there's so much Fabius Biolore. But
have we done it? Fabius Biolore is one of the first.
We did do a
episodes.
Fabius Biolore.
That's where Poop Knife comes from.
Yes, so we did. Go check out that episode.
I thought that came from a quiz. I thought that was the same thing that birthed Caiaphas Cain, the Death Guard member.
No, I feel like Poop Knife comes from. There was
it's
at least
Hal creation.
Sorry,
at the very least there was a Poop Knife mentioned in the Fabius Bile because
Morag is the Death Guard. By the way.
I remember editing the Fabius Bile video and putting Poop Knife as like the first thing as the cold open. But it might have not originated. You might be right. It might have originated from the quiz.
As we mentioned earlier, I think Eli mentioned stuff about Lucius. Lucius will probably be his own episode, so I don't want to drag too much into it. But he's
the goat, but he's an awful character.
We will talk to him. Eidolon, who's another big character for the Emperor's Children. Eidolon is someone who you meet quite early on in the Horus Heresy books as a incompetent. He again is like Fabius. He comes from he's a second son of a noble family. Been with the Legion since this beginning. Eidolon is very much the embodiment early on of the Legion's, pride. He even looks down upon Chemosians, so he was a Terran. He thought people from Chemos.
He's the epitome of punchable face.
Very much so. His pride was beyond even possibly Fulgrim's. He was one of the Lord Commanders, other than with Vespasian as well. He was one of the other Lord Commanders of the Legion. They were essentially vying for Fulgrim's biggest cuckboy in the entire Legion. Eidolon would famously go on to be the point in which he's trying to make himself be known so much that he makes a massive faux pas in the world of murder and sends his Legion in to claim glory, messes up completely. Saul Tarvitz, a beloved character from the Horus Heresy series, he's a straight shooter and he's nothing like Eidolon. And this is where we sort of first meet Eidolon. He's like a stuck up, wealthy, aristocratic guy. He's like, I done no wrong whatsoever. And the
Lord Commander as well.
Yeah,
he's like a really high-ranking character.
He claims other people's achievements as his own, but he famously gets his tail between his legs, knows to shut up when, Horus reprimands him. But Eidolon starts to change when the Slaanesh corruption hits, because Eidolon is very much he thinks he's the best, but he doesn't have the stuff to back it up. But once the Slaaneshi corruption thing starts permeating the Legion, he starts to gain power. He is forcibly taken by Fabius and experimented upon. He gets a sonic organ implanted into his neck, which means that when he unleashes a scream, which he first unleashes on the Eldar Maiden world, he has a sonic scream, kind of like
a wave serpent.
Yeah, he kind of like what the Noise Marines have in their guns. He has one in his own throat. He has this massive auric hammer that he carries around with him. And when the Horus Heresy starts, he is right by Fulgrim's side. He leads the Isstvan 3 massacre. Then Fulgrim at one point, who's pretending to be the demon still here, he questions Fulgrim. He gets his head chopped off. They drink from his blood, and then Fulgrim throws his severed head and body to Fabius and says, fix it, because he might need Eidolon for something. Eidolon's spirit / body, he was killed by the Leia blade? I don't know, something's about.
I think so.
So Eidolon's his head was reattached and his soul rejoined to his body, but from this point onward, he would be a scarred, ugly mess of a thing, and something within him is even more changed and worse. He's like pretty much, he embraces Slaaneshi corruption fully, and this, weirdly enough, now he has like his arrogance and his like supreme headstrongness. Now with the corruption, he can actually back it up. So when he goes on throughout the Horus Heresy, he fights the White Scars. He learns how to fight White Scars. He ends up killing who's it, Andy?
Sorry, Andy.
Which the one of the White Scars does he kill? The famous one of Jagatai's friends.
Kinshar. He kills Kinshar first.
He
Captain.
kills Kinshar. He kills the first captain.
Don't
He
remind
sets
me.
the trap for them. He starts working with Mortarion at some point, but he doesn't really like Mortarion at all. Then there's a new Eidolon book, which is basically the Emperor's children are recalled to go fight the war on Terra. Eidolon is haunted. There's actually a decent book, I'd say. Eidolon is haunted by this weird mirror, like creature thing throughout this book. They're trying to get closer towards Terra, but their ship's being under attack. At this point, the Emperor's children are fully, like they have extra mandibles, eyes are bulging, things that like flies, and skin is everywhere. Like they are fully in their corruption. And then they land upon this Eidolon and his warband. He managed to scrounge together like a third of the Legion under his banner. They arrive to this world where it was one of the first worlds the Legion conquered, and it was where Eidolon basically made himself as a Lord Commander, and it's like the whole world is like quite close to Terra. Like there's statues of him and Fulgrim in their prime, and it's basically the world is like where he became famous. They meet with a Sons of Horus warband who they don't really get along with, and they think they're the ones who've been messing with them with this like demon attacking them. So they agreed, like, hey, you know what? We're quite close to Terra. Let's just attack this world together. They do. So the place where Eidolon made his name, he makes his name again. They go down to attack it. Then, for some reason, the Emperor's children, they're so deluded and corrupted by this point. A few of them just start attacking the Sons of Horus. The Sons of Horus then attack Eidolon because they think, you betrayed us. And Eidolon is like,
whoa, dude, what the hell?
yeah,
Except the Sons
Eidolon,
of Horus.
at this point, he literally laughs at it, saying, like, you know what? It's inevitable. Like he literally not like, once this war is over, we're going to all kill each other.
He was correct.
And then
Legion War.
they managed to fight off and really massacre the Sons of Horus warband pretty easily because of the strength of the Emperor's children are faster than them, they have better weapons than them. But obviously, with them being focused on one thing for once, which is killing other legionaries, they actually can do it. And Eidolon is then haunted by this demon, and he realizes it's him. The demon is a manifestation created from his own death, so it's the other part of his like soul which has been twisted by corruption. And it says, like, it tells him, embrace demonhood like your father did. Do it. Let's see how much more powerful you can become. But Eidolon says, I will not be a slave. He says, like, I am the perfect, which is quite healthy. He says, I'm the perfect version.
Eidolon literally goes, don't you know who I am? Like, okay, mate, come on.
Yeah, good advice for you brothers here. He says a great line, which he says, I am the best version of myself, which we should all think when we look in the mirror. But
that's the attitude you should take in your everyday life. Unless you are Eidolon, you are not the best version of yourself.
Which is funny because he's like incredibly scarred and ugly. But his armor is like tainted and has like face.
Hey, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Leave him alone.
Truly. Eidolon.
That side parting is bad.
Yeah. Well, then at the end of the book, when the ashes of like this whole planet and the Sons of Horus, Fulgrim appears, and Fulgrim says, oh, were you having fun? Did you like my little game? And Eidolon goes, what? And he realizes, like, the soul that was taken, like his part of his soul that was in the warp, Fulgrim had molded it and twisted it into a demon, and then sent it back to go haunt Eidolon and all the Emperor's children, because like some of the ships had died to this thing. And
thanks, Dad.
Whereas like Eidolon, the Eidolon at the end of the bit, like he offers this soul as a sacrifice to Slanesh, and he'll stay a human but just corrupted by Slanesh. And Eidolon just tells Fulgrim to his face, like, you're a slave. I'm the real deal. You know what I mean? Like I'm a champion of Slanesh, and I'm the real thing. I can make my own destiny. I'm the one in charge. And Fulgrim like just is like, really? He's like, Fulgrim like, you're not even playing the game, bro. You don't even know you're a piece on the board. I'm putting places on the board. I'm playing a game that's galaxy wide. You're
playing checkers. I'm playing chess, bruh. Like, oh, thanks, Dad.
Literally, but like again, like because Fulgrim can't perceive like Eidolon has free will in some capacity, and then Eidolon can't see why he'd ever become a demon, because what's the point in being like Fulgrim? He's literally says like Fulgrim can't even change anymore. Fulgrim is a force. He's an immutable thing. He can't even grow, whereas Eidolon has plenty more to do. But then Fulgrim was like, well, you know what? I've been enjoying this so much. In fact, I might do this more. I might tease you. I might manipulate. I might harass you guys more, just because it makes you you come out stronger from this Eidolon, didn't you? He's like, yeah, yes, daddy.
I guess.
I guess. And I said, so Fulgrim's like, I'm going to do this more often because this is what makes me have fun. And then he says, like, now we press on to Terror, because they're literally just near Terror. But actually, I think it's a pretty good book, the Eidolon book, and it makes his character a cool, interesting Emperor's Children character.
It's weird that Lucius became the champion of Slaanesh instead of Eidolon. I don't really.
I think because it's more about embodiment. Lucius
guess.
is again, like, Eidolon is more of is what Horus thinks he is, in terms of, like, yeah, he is
Rabadon.
by Slaanesh, but Eidolon has plans that are in the material universe, whereas Lucius is just
Obsessed, I
killing.
guess.
I mean, I have a weird take on it. Like, are you familiar with the different hormones that give you like pleasure as drugs?
Mm-hmm.
So you got like EDSO, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin,
Insulin
oxytocin.
for Colin.
Oh yeah, baby. Put that shit in
But,
my
like-
veins.
But like, generally speaking, you can divide them into ED are the selfish drugs, and so are the good ones. So like, you can't really overdose on serotonin or oxytocin, which is like the task completing drug and the human contact drug. But
Yeah.
endorphins and dopamine, like, you can gamble all you want, you can drink all you want, you can eat as much food as you want. And I think like Lucius, he doesn't know when to stop. He doesn't have a good opinion of himself. So like Eidolon's more like, I can have a healthy balance, than I can be like, no, I don't want to be a full-on demon. Whereas Lucius is like, put it in my veins, give me all the stimuli. And it's like,
They managed to
he
resurrect
can't
his
control
character
himself.
quite handily compared to. I'll read off. I have a slight part from the excerpt. I'll finish it on, just because it's so. They're like, it just makes sense what, like, he says. Like, Fulgrim is saying, like, literally, like, oh, I did all this and other things. I think and then, like, Eidolon is like, Fulgrim's like, oh, you're just so weak. And then Eidolon tells him, like, I am made in your image, shaped by your teachings and your failings. So he just tells Fulgrim,
I know you are, but what am I?
I have. And I was like, I have greatness enough already. He says that I am. I'm him. I wasn't him, but I'm him now. You're a slave. So I'd like an actual Emperor's Children character that is finally, somehow they managed to turn it around from what his previous, his initial meeting of Eidolon. But I find him probably the more fascinating Emperor's Children character now. Other than Fabius is pretty good. Others,
Fabius gets a lot of nice attention, at least. Or
Other
has like
minor-
4 books.
Other minor characters, unfortunately, for the Emperor's Children have either Saul Tarvitz from Great Crusades, like a straight shooter.
Gone.
He's dead. Solomon who's one of the captains who was nice, is dead. Like a lot of the ones who are level head, or Vespasian as well.
Dead.
Like all the
dead. Maris Vyrosian, dead. Although I love Maris Vyrosian becomes a noise marine. He fights an Iron Hand, and the first time he deafens him with his like noise marine blaster, and then it bites him in the bum, because then he becomes deaf. So while all the others are like, this really hurts. I can't remember his name. The Iron Hand guy goes, I don't care. Volkite blast in the face. Yeah, thanks, mate. And yeah, that's kind of funny.
But that is the predominant Emperor's Children characters now. I think that's for the lore stuff. That's kind of
there's a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Well, we didn't mention that Fulgrim bodied Gilliman a while after the heresy.
Let it happen.
It was easy. Gilliman tried. He said, "I'm going to go in there. I'm going to try my best, but I'm probably going to lose. So you guys
He
need
let
to
it happen because he knew there'd be no 40k otherwise.
yeah, cope harder. Fulgrim absolutely destroys Gilliman, and then his sons come in and shoot bolters at him, and then he runs away.
MVP Aeonid Field, now a captain, like, oh shit. And like, yeah, they have like the Nova Marines, the Aurora Marines, they have like a bunch of the successors, and they're like, Gilliman is down? What? Hold the line. Get Gilliman the hell out of there.
So
he
poisons
him.
Fulgrim,
Yeah, he poisons him, which is why he was in stasis for 10,000 years.
And he also used the wound on where Corferon stabbed him with the Anaphane dagger. And so Fulgrim saw the scar and was like, weak point, and it went in easier.
Yeah.
So they say.
And we didn't talk about
It was
Lucius.
pre-lubed.
Lucius will get his own episode. I can briefly talk about him. There's really not much to say, unfortunately, other than a big episode. But he was one of the best duelists of the Legion. He took W after W in the Horus Heresy. He literally, I don't think he ever lost in the olden days. But then they got corrupted by Slanesh, and he lost a fight to Loken because Loken literally cheated. And he went crazy after that. He did. It was a sword fight, and he punched him. It's a sword. It's an agreed upon sword fight with set rules to fight with swords.
Also, Sonarked from the Thousand Suns held his own against him without much trouble because he could see into the future and see what he was doing with his sword attacks. So he literally joins a band of Thousand Suns, and they're like, "Why are you here?" And he's like, "I want to fight that guy." And he's like, well, not now, I'm busy. And that's like the whole book where he's just like, can I fight? He's like, no, I'm busy.
Yeah, but after that though, before he was still obsessed with being the best swordsman, and then after he loses to Loken, he was corrupted by Slanesh. So he starts to scar himself. It was not fair and square. He starts to scar himself.
It was no whole bars. It was no whole bars.
After every minute thing that he thinks he did wrong, he starts to scar himself. Which is why he has a bajillion scars on his face. Then gets into the Angel Exterminatus. Shadowkin kills him. And his curse starts where whenever he dies, if the person who kills him takes any pride in it or not, if we're being real, the rule doesn't really exist. It's just what the lore says. Then they will eventually turn into Lucius, and he'll take over their body and soul, and their face will be added to the armor of shrieking souls. And he is basically tormented by these screaming souls all the time, unless he takes drugs, and then it goes away for a little bit. But it's described as having dozens of souls, so like 12 to 96. And those don't actually include lost duels. Some of them are lost duels, some of them are random deaths because they like to put him in silly situations. And now he just roams around fighting duels wherever he can find them. So he probably fights more than any character in Warhammer, and he wins like 99% of the time. He is pretty goated, but he's just a jerk, and he has no redeeming qualities. He's a really good swordsman, and that's kind of his entire character. And then even if he loses, he comes back, so he just doesn't really have to care or even try that hard. He has the Lair Blade, and he has the Flesh Whip. I don't know. There's not much to say about him. He is one of the best duelists in Warhammer. It's just he has no character. He has no redeeming qualities. And he has no reason to try harder than he did before, so he doesn't have to learn from his mistakes, which sucks. But he has 1,000 bajillion years of experience now, so he's really good at what he does.
10,000 years of bajillion experience,
depending on how warp shenanigans go, but but still, regardless, he's won like thousands of duels and lost dozens of them, so he's not a bad duelist. And to say he is like such a cope thing to say.
Although getting ganked by a exorcist's trainee chaplain Domissar.
Yeah, but that was on purpose. That was on purpose. That's the whole point. Yeah, that's the whole point of the episode. He infiltrates their base. To be fair, the whole thing.
I know, but it's still like he used the time freezing thingy and struck him. And it was like, I don't know, it looked pretty fair to me.
But he was purposely going into that fight to lose, though. That is the point of the episode. It is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But whatever. He was leading the Cohorts Nasicae, and I've read his book, but I don't remember the end of it because he's no longer leading the Cohorts Nasicae, so I don't actually remember what happens.
He makes a new warband called the Faultless Blades.
And now he's doing that. I don't know. They could have made him a bit of a cooler character, if I'm being honest. He's just a good swordsman, and everyone kind of hates him. Like, there's no one likes him because he's such a jerk, and he just leads. He just goes on a whim to wherever we'll have a good fighter. He doesn't really care about the people under his command, so they get screwed over a lot following him. I don't know. He's Lucius. I like him. He's the goat. Who wicked? But the new lore,
he's a Slanesh character. He does what he wants.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he's a Slanesh character, and that's whatever. But the new lore, the new stuff in the lore, the guy we just had on the screen is a Lord Exultant. these are actually interesting and useful Slaanesh corrupted Space Marines. Who could have thought such a thing would exist? They are basically like Chaos Lords obsessed with warfare and being the perfect tacticians, which in turn actually makes them good at warfare and not stupid and pursuing their own personal pleasures, because they see the warfare as like a audience and a stage to be set, and they want to completely destroy their opponents with the best tactics that you could possibly think of. They use their Slaanesh corruption to be better at war, so like they can smell fumes on the air to determine where an enemy armor position is. They can like meticulously keep track of how much ammunition the enemy has left, so that they know when they'll run out. Yeah, it's
You're really saying they're like
yeah, like
17 rounds.
Hey,
What?
smell
it.
I can
Yeah.
smell you.
So they're
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's one of the new things. Another new thing are the faultless blades. They're the cone heads, which I love. You can see one kind of in the
Horatio.
left corner, like left middle of the those
Underneath
guys. He has the two
Fulgrim.
swords. Yeah, that guy. These guys are jerks. They're described as being like so pompous and stuck up that other emperor's children don't like them and get annoyed with them because of how incredibly prideful they are. They're obsessed with swordsmanship. They put on incredible, like crazy shows and crazy feats of swordsmanship and duels. They're obsessed with dueling, and like so wacky are the things that they can pull off that they get the attention of demons, and the demons like sing to them, and the demons will help them kind of and grant them power. But if they don't put on a pleasing performance to the demons, then the demons will like eat them pretty much. That's the fall display. They have drugs and
I sent
surgical
Andy some
operations and
of the
yada,
images
yada.
of the new models, Andy. If you have those, I sent you some.
Okay.
Very good.
I'll have to download them.
Then another new unit is the Lord Cacophony. They're like Noise Marines plus. They have more surgical alterations and more corruption. They have like things going through their body, so the Doom Sirens on their backs play all the noises that go on in their body times a bajillion. They can hear like distant sounds in the warp and kind of like use those sounds to better their Cacophony and Noise Marines in the area. Yeah, they're just kind of like strong Noise Marines. Then there's another one. Oh, the Tormentors and oh my gosh, I didn't Infractors. Yeah, let me just check which one is which real quick. Okay, the Tormentors surprisingly are not the melee ones.
Really?
They are they are the true epitome of the Space Marine in their opinion. They're like the tactical Marine of the Emperor's children.
These guys?
They think that they are the best like epitome of the Space Marine of what the Astartes were supposed to be. So they're obsessed with like tactics and strategy, and they think that they're the linchpin of every strategy. So half the time they won't even listen to the guy in command, and they'll make their own like special objectives up for themselves and go achieve them. But they're really good at what they do, so people aren't too mad. They're extremely good marksmen. They like put on crazy shows of marksmanship and try to pull off insane shots, and they generally do. So they can back up what they talk about. And then the Infractors are like melee obsessed Space Marines. At the end of the day, every freaking variant is just someone obsessed with something else. Who could have been surprised? But whatever. The Infractors are obsessed with melee combat, and they're like rabid world eater type guys almost, and they go from place to place, killing people the best that they can, putting on shows of gore and blood and just like as excessive violence as they possibly can. Sometimes new people show up, so they'll just leave the guys alive what they were doing and go kill the other guys. Sometimes because they got distracted. Sometimes because they want to like feel the despair of their comrades as they slaughter everyone else, and they want an audience. Yeah, that's pretty much all the new lore in the entire new codex is summed up in freaking 10 minutes, which is kind of depressing, but there's like one paragraph of new Fulgrim lore. The other stuff is just him fighting Ultramarines. Yeah, there he is. Conehead, Horatio.
He's real.
Horatio is
real.
perfect.
I love you, Horatio
He's
Marine. Oh, man.
My God, that's ugly.
That's not a
That
tree.
face.
Should we read some donations before we wrap up?
Yes, we do. Yeah. I had a question of the week as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Colin, that's for you, I think.
Allow me then. Oh, this is just nice. Thank you. Non-dormient, thank you. Love you, Colin. I hope you enjoy the boomer models. I do,
Well, an actual,
but I
like,
also really
source
want
of comment.
Cathay because they're cool and new.
They
Oh
are cool.
wow! Beyond the Fell handed for $2. I vote
Wow.
Beyond
Let's me
himself.
kick Fulcrum's ass next.
Hell yeah!
I'd rather that happen than freaking Gilliman or something. Thank you for the $2.
I think Beyond's gonna die, bro.
No,
They would
Yeah,
kill
but
the character.
it'd
I
be
know.
cool. Yeah.
no.
Verbugder Herder Dunkelheit. I assume that's German or something. Thank you for the €5. I have listened to your 100 plus episode, and I still can't keep you apart besides Pancreas. What? So for me, it's just Pancreas speaking to the Lorecrimes hive mind. That's crazy.
I,
Thank you for the $5.
I guess thanks.
Do me and Andy sound exactly the same?
No.
No, what do you mean we sound exactly
Our
the same?
names are on the thing.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
no!
my
To be fair, some
God.
people just say they don't know who is who. That's fine.
It's okay.
Bean.
What do they give me?
Bean.
I bring a
$5.
sort of this is our death. We choose it. We deny you your victory. Ah,
Nice.
live to the function that the traitors don't really like.
Epic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hollow Neck
Holo.
post.
Oh,
Thank you for the $2. I have a hot take in the Discord. You'll have to tag
all
us
right.
and
Let me go
Show
take a
us.
look. Let me go.
because
Let
I
me
don't
go
know where it
view.
is.
I'm not gonna lie.
Is
Shout
it in
out to
general?
again, join the Discord, boys. Join the Discord.
While you're having a look, Finny for £2.
Thank you.
Not gonna lie, Hal's trial of Magnus on AA made me love him.
Huge.
Dan, that was I was trying to cook that guy. I hate him.
Where is your hot take? I must.
Yeah, you're
ping
gonna
me.
take us.
Ping Colin. Go on.
There's too many.
You can do it.
Ping me. I am looking at it right now. I see.
Anthony,
I see. Oh, sorry.
Anthony Fackenfall for $10.
Thank you again,
Want to
brothers.
read this
Thank
one,
you.
Hal?
Yeah, you know that by 40k. You know that by 40k
Boy,
that
that's
the Emperor's children have gotten what?
Prehensile?
Prehensile.
Prehensile, damn.
Yeah, it's like monkeys can
Prehensile.
move their tails and shit. And use it to
Well,
hang off a tree. Yeah,
no.
like that.
Have gotten prehensile
no.
penile implants, and at least one poor soul has been beaten to death by one.
You
Happy
know it.
Colin,
Wow.
You know it.
I think we killed someone like that in a D&D campaign I played.
That sounds about right.
Giant's penile.
Rich
Rich.
Mac, thank you for the $5 New Zealand dollars.
New Zealand. Damn.
Eli, your title on stream is a lie. Fulgrim is clearly a top, so you should be his bottom guy. You're pretty real for that.
Wow.
That's a funny message. Thank you.
Andy from Anthony Fackenfall. Andy, serotonin syndrome can literally kill you in severe cases. Yeah, but I'm talking about in general. Like, it's difficult. Like, science. Science. Crimson Glory
Thank you.
again.
Oh, this is
brother.
we found the take.
Okay.
During the heresy, Primarch should not have been mentioned or have little mentioned.
Real. You're real for
Wow.
Less
That's
Primarchs. Delete them.
Crimson Glory there for $5. Thank you,
you.
brother. Please keep listing off dead Emperor's children. It soothes the nail.
Bunny Cop, thank you for the $2. Gilliman read the 3rd edition history. Oh, Gilliman read the 3rd edition history, sadly. Yes.
Ooh.
Vincent
Orellana. There we go. $199. How much insulin does it take to kill a Primarch? A lot.
Yeah.
Probably
lot.
a big number.
Yeah.
Do we have like a dump truck full of it? That might be the
Although,
trick.
well, I don't.
You'd have to drown them.
Anyone could, in theory, overdose on insulin, but your body makes glucagon, so it's a lot harder for normal people. I could do it quite easily. It's called giving me a few units and then don't eat anything.
But I feel it'd be like when you see Captain America drinking, going like, "Oh, my body is so superhuman, I can't get drunk," and the Primarch's like glucagon, more like glucagon.
Theoretically,
I am a Warhammer namer.
If there's no more room to store it in the liver, then surely it would at that point just.
Well, yeah, you can if you inject insulin into yourself.
No, the glucagon stores it in liver, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't make it.
Glucagon
so I don't know.
is stored in the balls. If you're a Primarch,
right.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
There is a safe way to to do it, but if you inject too much and then mess up your stuff, then you can go into a coma.
Glucagon
you're
is
screwed.
stored in my fat fucking nuts.
Gloria for
Thank you.
TRY. Is the music band a meme or actually in the lore?
Like the Noise Marine music band, it is kind of just a meme. They're not like, well, they play music. It's just not like drum
They don't
set
have like
and
a boy
guitar
band,
and-
but like
yeah. Yeah, they play the
It'd be
music
that
of the
annoying-
apocalypse that like makes you insane if you hear
It's
it.
the wail of orphans
it
and
would be that-
Armageddon.
It would be that annoying art house music you see at like a university first year. Oh, what is this? Get out of here!
Fulgrim's the
Pretentious.
kind of guy to show up to a party with a guitar. That someone said that.
Alright,
Hey, some people can make it work.
it's true. Deacon83, thank you for the $5. Prob's not going to be able to donate for a bit after this. Well, thank you for this one. Got diagnosed with type 1 on
Thank you.
Monday. Sorry to hear that.
No.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah,
Eli,
sorry,
it's
man.
your time to shine, bro. What is that? Are you talking about the Emperor's children or about your
I assume.
diagnosis?
I assume that's less Type 1 reference, more Empress Children. I assume.
Yeah, thank you. I'm
Like I
sorry
said,
to hear that. I hope
Type
that's
1
it.
is not the end of it, brother, though. It's
Yeah.
very manageable. In fact, my own sibling, like Colin, has Type 1, and they are in great shape and have a, great old time.
It is by
as
no
we
means
call-
impossible to handle.
As we call Hal, we call him Pancreas adjacent.
Silly.
Yeah, Bunny Cop for $2. Eidolon needs a dog, but what breed? Happy weekend. Shih Tzu,
He
because
needs-
he's a right Shih Tzu.
He needs, legit, hear me out. It's a dwarf seeker. You know the seekers of Slanesh?
A what?
Yeah,
Oh,
The little,
okay.
the tongued.
like
thing.
a puppy sized
No.
secret.
No, it's a small one, but also it has really stumpy legs, and it like waddles and it just licks
What?
like furniture or something. It would be so cute.
No. No, it wouldn't.
That would be cute. Oh my gosh.
Organ,
Organath, thank you for the
$10.
$10.
Glory to the mortal champions of Slanesh.
Yeah, baby.
Praise she who thirsts.
Yeah.
So thank you for the support, guys. It's been
Thank
you.
amazing.
Praise Sigvald.
Last
Not too fond of this next one, but thank you for the $5, Imperial Loyalist. Here to say that Sanguinius is the sexier Primarch. That is all.
Yep.
I
This
disagree.
is
Yeah.
facts. This is facts.
I wish when they found him on
All natural.
Ball, they caved his head in with a rock.
Yeah, you're so real for that.
Why?
You're so real for that.
Why?
Because
He's so good.
I have
Yeah.
angel wings.
I
Yeah,
love him.
okay. Yeah, I too
Yeah.
have seen a picture of Saint Michael. Good job.
Yeah, but he's cool.
This is the same. I'm not going to hear this from the guy who hasn't seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm
And-
not going to
And
hear
he didn't get. And he didn't get wings through divine will. He got them because he's a mutant. He's like
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
X-Men.
Radiation.
Lockdown.
That thing that commonly gives people angel wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You understand. Let's go
Oh
to
my gosh.
Chernobyl.
Where's the
Let's
guy who
get
says
two
he
powers.
hates Colin for his takes? Where are you?
I think that's half the chat, bro.
Do you mean the Lorecrimes audience?
Yeah, someone said remove colon immediately. Thank you. Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh.
Appreciate that. Finishing up though, because I'm realizing it's like 2.5
Yeah, I
hours
am Catholic. I don't like Sanguinius.
We have the question of the week. Andy, there was a previous question of the week on our Typhus Cain episode.
Yeah. So the hashtag was hashtag Kane. The first one is from Mothman66. Kane, it's the 16th Black Crusade. Abaddon has cut his way through the galaxy to Terra and stands before the Golden Throne to strike down the Emperor once and for all. The only thing in his way, the Imperium's favorite commissar, who is trying not to piss himself. In brackets, Jurgen is behind Abby, about to shove his melter where the 8-pointed star don't shine.
Wow.
What a way to end his legacy that would be.
Crazy if Abaddon gets it by Jurgen.
I'm Jurgening it.
Literally
Coming up,
parroting
Boruto.
Horus's words. I never wanted this. Up his bum.
Right him in his,
Second
right in
one
his
from
Super Cal.
Resident
Horus
meme
Luke
lord
again.
DJ Beast. Hashtag Kane. I would throw Kane into Skaven Blight. Like, he falls through the warp and ends up in the Skaven capital. Thanquil is also there. The failing upwards will be crazy. That would be quite funny.
Awesome.
Fear and Loathing in Skaven Blight would be quite funny. And the last one from NerdyVids1. Hashtag Kane. Put Kane directly in front of the Golden Throne so the custodians all find him and freak out. And he has to think of a way to play it off so he doesn't get skewered.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that'd be good fun.
It's not going to make it.
No, he'd be fine. He'd figure it out.
Mhm.
Thank you guys, though. That was a
Yeah,
helpful serving of
yeah. We were gonna make Andy talk about the warbands, but I think we'll save that for
Another
different.
one, I suppose.
Yeah.
Also, before we cap off, we have to think of the next question of the week, don't we?
Oh,
We
didn't
did
come
have
up with
one.
it?
We said earlier. We had
Yeah.
one for this special episode, which we're hoping for some diabolical comments on this. What would it take for you to turn to Slanesh? #Slanesh Ussi, or Slanussi if you wish.
Slanushi, yeah.
So, what would it take me to take Colin to turn to Slanesh? Will be an interesting one, because I'm pretty sure it would just be like, we can, the pancreas is super loaded at this point.
Maybe $5.
Too much.
I mean, all I'm going to say is one phrase. It would just be like Slanesh gives Colin an envelope with a letter, and it's just, "You're invited to a Marathi bubble bath."
I'm in.
Where's the bathwater? Where's the bathwater?
You would see me like the fucking juggernaut tearing through walls.
You'd be like the
I am.
Roadrunner, just like. There you
Oh
go.
my
I'm the
gosh.
pancreas. No, what, bitch?
Oh, man.
I point out a dono we just got.
Yes.
Organoth, thank you for the 2. Glory to she who thrusts. Oh no, I missed that. She who thirsts.
Thirsting.
Your mind got in the way there. Your mind added extra letters. Ooh.
I mean, what it takes for me to turn to Slanesh depends. Like my problem would be greed. I would be greed if the bro was like,
What
listen,
if
$20 $20, right?
Oh, gosh.
what about this now? What
He's
if
spitting.
like Slanesh was like, "I'll give you once a year a good Iron Hands book."
Sheesh. That's a lot.
No, I don't know.
Greater
How I would
good.
trade. It had to be
Greater
more than Iron
good.
Hands. I need
Need.
Magnus to die. Like demon Primarch.
I want that red bastard dead.
If they literally went and then Ahriman killed Magnus permanently, and then the Rubric Marines were saved, I'd be like, my lord above, I'm on my knees.
Oh my gosh! Hala's class is confirmed. Wow, we got another one.
I've got a really important question I just came up with though. Colin,
Yes.
you have to pick the previous invitation to the bubble bath or a life supply of Shamrock shakes. Which is it?
Ooh, man.
Got him.
On demand.
Got him.
Nah, see, the thing about the Shamrock Shake though, it's special. It's once a year. I get it with my dad. It's nice. Marathi's not real. So if she was,
Oh, man. We got something from Crimson Glory. He's been a member for 11 months. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, man.
Almost a year, and Colin is still down bad, bro. You're gonna come back in 50 years. You'll see the same thing.
Dude, the YouTube channel will be dead and gone. Will be dead and gone. Still down bad.
Yeah.
The grandkids will watch this and they'll be like, "Granddad, who's a Marathi?" And then they immediately be like, "Listen, shut your mouth."
And then they're on your phone, and you're like, "No, don't Google image search.
Don't go to the Discord and see the images that have been crafted for the beautiful members of Lorecrimes here. Thank you for the art of pregnant Colin. Thank you. If you wish to go,
I want more. I want more pregnant.
Do not tell the person who did that to make more, because
I want more fan art. I love the fan art.
The fan art.
Fan art, good. I don't need to see me pregnant.
Pregnant Colin fan art, especially.
No, it wasn't you. It was Techless that was pregnant. You were just
Oh,
there.
yeah. All right.
And I love the
gremlin
gremlin face on Colin behind him too. It's so freaking funny. Oh my gosh!
Someone did comment though. Someone did the comment of like, Colin looks like the kind of guy to whisper in someone's ear, "You got a girlfriend, champ."
Oh my god!
Oh man! We will probably do a fan art section at the end of the videos. That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
With that being said, we got to wrap up because a lot.
it's
It's a
pretty
long
long.
episode. Thank you guys for watching, listening, all that good stuff. Get your bingo card out, like and subscribe. Appreciate you all. Hope you
Yep.
guys enjoyed the Emperor's Children lore. Got one, all that good stuff coming up next week. And if you want us to cover anything specifically, let us know. Again, obviously, question of the week. Give that a little hashtag Slanushi or Slanushi, whichever one. We'll catch it.
Lanusi.
Probably a Dose 2 stream soon as well. Was Andy will never be near it again.
Andy's favorite
I've
new game.
already
Andy
uninstalled it.
recovers.
The same night we played Eli, I uninstalled the game.
You'll come crawling back.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
I think it's me and Colin's
happening?
turn now.
We got one more dono before we wrap up completely.
One last
Oh
one?
yes.
From Medicare Insulin. Crazy,
Fuck
crazy
you.
username. Thank you for the $2. It says thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Why is someone
That's nice.
screaming feet? Okay. Good night, guys.
My
Thank you. guys
man,
for
my
watching.
man.
Andy owes a Fortnite stream. Andy owes a Fortnite stream. Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good one, guys. We'll see you
Bye,
soon.
love you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.